Okay, thank you very much for joining in this hangout. It's only the second try, so I fucked up big time by forgetting it yesterday, and now today I didn't even know how to get the bloody thing started. But here we are with Tex and with Dick, and yeah, let's start with Org Lives Matter.
All right. Should I start this or?
Yeah, sure.
All right. Well, okay. So before y'all think we're some weird sons of bitches right here, basically there's an article around. There's a game called Deus Ex, or yeah, I think that's how you pronounce it at least.
Mm-hmm.
And in the game's concept art, they found something that said "Augs Lives Matter," an obvious reference, or at least parody of Black Lives Matter. But guess what? Black Lives Matter said, "Oh hell nah," and they started, putting a bunch of hate on the poor company.
Yeah, that's pretty weird. Let's see if I can find the article so I can link it. No, not link it. Screen it. I mean.
I get it now. It's augmented, like the augmented people.
Exactly. Augmented people's
I
lives
didn't get
matter.
it before.
Come on, Orange. Stick with the program.
Hence, Org Lives Matter.
Dude, never played the game. Don't know shit about it.
Well, we should play the game.
I should, but that means I'd have to actually do it, and that's work that I don't freaking need.
I'm wondering though, are they more upset because orgs aren't actually real, or are they more upset because org sounds a little bit like all?
I just think they're pissed off because it parodies Black Lives Matter.
Indeed.
Let
me see.
Oh, God. So, some of the best things have been parodied, though. Like, all sorts, like, even the Civil Rights Movement has its freaking parody. So, why is it a big deal? Because they're whiny. Am I echoing for you guys?
No, you're fine.
Okay.
Okay, so this is the scene, right? I hope you guys can see the article.
Yes.
Good.
Loud
Then
and
I
clear.
did something right.
Finally.
Yeah, it's about time. But yeah, this is brilliant, though. I mean, anyway, continue, my friend.
It is ironically, it's a sequel to the first Deus Ex, which I didn't play, but the person that I've got on my stream on Tuesdays and Fridays has played all these freaking games, so I have like a basic working knowledge.
But
that's good. At least you know something.
How is Org's Life Matters an issue? I mean, in the game, what's the problem that the Orgs are facing? Because I don't know the game, to be honest. I mean, well, I know it, but...
But you gotta think, like, people when they get mechanical augmentation, like, even when it comes into our society, it's gonna come to this point where they're not technically human anymore, so they think that it somehow equates to Black Lives Matter being like, oh, they're not human because they're black, or they're not human because they're augments, and it's this stupid equivalency which they just need backhanded for.
But wasn't the problem with augments that they couldn't be trusted because they could be taken over remotely?
Exactly.
I mean, how is that the same as a black person? Can we now not trust a black person because they can be taken over remotely?
Well,
I mean, we don't got to worry about their owners chasing them down or something.
Well, like, to be fair, Black Lives Matter has attempted to take control of African Americans.
Oh yeah, they've been trying that constantly.
Keyword attempted.
Yeah, well, you've got to think, like, with an augmentation, it's also an attempt. It's just a lot more effective if you've already programmed it.
Yep.
But look at Black Lives Matter. They're already sitting there attempting to put in the programming to do that takeover.
Yeah, it's still weird though. I mean,
Oh, yeah, it's completely irrelevant to the actual situation. Like, they're just complaining to complain.
But is this art imitating life, to be honest?
It's definitely parody.
Yeah, but the augs actually have something to complain about.
Yeah.
I mean, they can be taken over without their consent. They can be killed. I mean, I think that happens in one of the Deus games. That a bunch of them get killed to prevent them from being abused.
Yeah, I think something like that.
That was the
happens.
first one, yeah.
And they also don't look very peaceful on that.
Yeah.
They look in an atmosphere of rioting, you know.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, it's art parodying life.
I mean,
It's
would
art
you
imitating
trust?
life.
I mean, like, would you trust a motherfucker with a like red eye or something? Or would you
Well,
trust somebody with a freaking machine gun for an arm or something?
Well, there's a lot of like back and forth with that because you got Kano, who you obviously aren't going to trust from Mortal Kombat, but then you've got people that are in like some of the animes, like Ghost in the Shell, that have the augmented eyes that are technically the good guys.
But this is kind of funny though, because if I scroll down, I'm looking at the tweets. Christ, it's not that Deus Org Lives Matter X isn't art, it's that its status as art doesn't shield it from critique. In fact, invites it. Okay, so people are critiquing it. What's the critique?
That it's racist.
Yeah, but no, because
It's
orcs,
not.
orcs aren't a race. And then the second one.
But my news media told me it was racist, dog. So I'm gonna say it's racist.
Yeah, it's almost like people continuously telling you how Donald Trump is racist because he's racist. Okay, what did he say that was racist? Well, but he's racist. Yeah, okay, what did he do that was racist? Yeah, but he's racist.
Exactly. Oh no, or else, like at least for me, everyone just immediately turns to he called all Mexicans rapists.
Bunch of autistics.
Oh, didn't he actually say that though? Like that?
No,
Not necessarily. Like out of context, it could be argued that he said that.
I think what he said
Exactly.
was when Mexico sends its people, they don't send their best, they send their racists, they send their drugs. So yeah, it's not cool to say that, but
Yeah, it's not cool, but it's not fucking racist.
I wouldn't say racist either. I mean, he's not saying all Mexicans are bad, he's saying all Mexican here are bad, which is still not cool, but there is a distinction.
Well, like the thing that I think he was actually trying to make is the people that come here illegally.
Yep.
The people that come through the proper channels come through legally just fine. They're just trying to get out of a crappy situation.
Yeah.
But the ones that are coming over here illegally are immediately criminals when they come over here, and they have broken a law.
That's why I find it funny that apparently more, how do you call it, more Hispanics seem to support Trump than Clinton.
Exactly.
This is kind of counter narrative, to be honest.
Yeah, I always tell all my Mexican buddies that there are more Hispanics supporting Trump than Clinton, and they're like, "Are you crazy?"
It's kind of weird, but yeah.
What's that whole lesser of two evils thing? I mean,
Well, it's more than the lesser of two evils, apparently. I mean, black people supporting Trump because they feel Trump can bring them jobs. And in all fairness, they're not really that wrong, because if you look at the cities in America that are the biggest mess, Detroit, Baltimore, Chicago, run by the Democrats.
oh yeah.
So they are true about something of that. Anyway, back to this Deus Ex thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm looking here at Tariq Mossad. Where are you? This is this one. So it looks like Deus Ex Mankind Divided has abandoned any pretense of understanding social struggles it's appropriating. And I'm like, actually they are perfectly alright in what they're saying. Because the augs are at risk of being killed, etc., etc., etc. Actually being killed. And they're protesting for it.
And they face actual discrimination and actual racism.
Whereas maybe that's why they're wrong, because in reality Black Lives Matter is bullshit.
It
Clearly.
But Augs Lives Matter is not. So is now the issue, oh my god, this make-believe thing has more reality to it than the real thing.
Exactly.
Not to get into like the appropriating thing, because that's just a whole different concept of something that I don't want to get into right now. But this is concept art, isn't it? This game isn't even out yet, is it?
Well, not this version, no. But the third Deus Ex is basically it's a line, isn't it? It's a sequel.
Yeah, it's a sequel. I mean, like, but the entire thing that I'm getting into is like, this is concept art. It's a freaking picture, and all it is them putting something on there that they've seen that they think they can use as an artistic depiction of like what these guys' complaint, and them going overboard with it. And I think that's what they're going to complain about the most is, like, when the game actually comes out, these people are going to be radicals. They're going to be coming out, going crazy, shooting at people, actually doing like serious violence, and people are going to see it in what Black Lives Matter does, and they're going to see like a progression of more and more violent behavior. And it's a parody, but it's all leading back to the seriousness of when a cause goes too far.
Yeah.
But it's also a great advertisement, of course, because this creates a lot of publicity.
Oh yeah, no such publicity is bad publicity. Like, the longer they talk about this, the more the sales for this game is going to go up.
Exactly. So maybe they are doing that on purpose.
I wouldn't doubt it.
It could be true.
Well, this game comes out this August, actually, August 23rd. Y'all want to check it out and actually see if it's,
Oh.
you know,
I have
there.
to go back to. I have to go back to there. Sorry.
Take your time. Take your time.
Yeah, I'm trying to do two things at once, and I can't. I can't keep this up, the Augs Lives Matter page, and also check the chat in YouTube, which I also want to do.
Okay, here.
You're like Tom. He gets lost every time we do this.
Yeah.
Modwain, Mod,
Yes.
separate tab from the original window. Just click on the tab for All Lives Matter, hold it down, and then move it away so it's another window.
Okay.
All right, now when go ahead to go to that window itself, or no, come back to the Google thing, the Google chat.
The Google thing. There we go.
Our like conversation right here.
Okay.
Just come back to that, and then you'll click on your share screen, and then that should now be a completely different window, and you should be able to keep that one up while everything else is closed.
Okay. Okay, so now you guys can see about the order and the chalk, etc., etc., right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so now I'm going to check. Did it work?
No.
Yes,
you-
it didn't. Okay.
Oh, see. God dang it. No, I know you can do it because I've done this crap before.
Too old for this.
I'm too
I'm over
old.
here. All right.
Well, I failed
Pop the
badly.
link to the article in the chat thingy real quick.
Okay. Now I have to go back to that one. There we go. There we go. There we go. Boom, boom.
Like the group chat on the side.
Yes, yes, yes. There we go, and there we go.
Alrighty. I'll just click on that crap.
I'm sorry, YouTube. I am crap. Well, no, I'm not, but I'm crap at
Yes, he
this.
is. Yes, he is.
No, I'm not, but I'm crap at this.
Or you can go.
Enter.
Oh, and sorry, Mark. No, not yet, mate. Do you want to come in?
Oh, God dang it. Okay.
Yeah, I know it is, Olenska.
Yes, it's quite funny.
God.
Not for me, though.
Yes, it is.
I'm looking an idiot. Okay, let me see if I...
Your mental capabilities are not, they're outdated. You're used to typewriters.
And there you go. It should be pulled up on mine.
Okay, so I can then do that. And now everyone should see it on yours.
Yeah.
And then
Just
I
let
can
me know
go
when you
back.
need me to scroll.
Well, Tex, take it away.
What am I doing?
I don't know. This was your story. You had. Oh, come on. You have
I
nothing
mean, I
more to
kind
say.
of explained it already in the beginning.
Yeah, that's true. It's not much to say. But I mean,
Let's see if I can do something. All right, I mean, just so Modwain don't yell at me here.
oh boy.
Ham-fist. Really? The dude thinks that this was a ham-fisted issue? Like, taking of it? Jesus. I haven't played the game, so I can't say honestly, but like, I mean, from what I can see, they're treating it like it appears in reality.
Yeah, but even if it were to appear in reality, I mean, augments actually are getting killed.
Yeah, like, that's the thing. But
they're not
what I'm
criminals
saying
that
is-
are being punished, they are getting killed.
But, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, this isn't a ham-fisted attempt to exemplify the issue. This is probably as surgical precision of pointing it out as they possibly can for the world that they have it set up in.
Yeah, pretty weird.
I mean, just... Let me see. Just for doing Merkin out, really? Okay.
Okay, I want to start with the next subject, but first I want to get Mark Driscoll in. And
Yeah.
Yeah, let's.
I already like this guy. He already called me an inspiration.
yeah, and we've been talking earlier, but I have him on WhatsApp, but I don't have him on Skype, so I can't. Do you have him on Skype, Tex?
No, I don't.
You want me to close this out, or...?
Mark, no, you don't have
Okay. No, I mean the article.
Yeah,
Yeah, we can go to the next subject.
yeah, we can go to the next one.
Okay,
That's right.
I'll go ahead
Let's
and
go
close
to the
that
next
then.
subject, y'all.
There we go. I think I've got it off now. Yeah.
I'm going to do something that I'm probably not supposed to be doing, but I'm going to link the Google thingy, the Hangout thingy in chat, because
Oh shit.
yes, everyone can join. I don't give a fuck. If you misbehave, I'll kick you anyway. Where is it now? I can't even find it anymore.
What, the link to this?
Yes, there it is.
I don't know how we went from Tom to another old man, but
Well, I'm the other old man apparently. Well, I'm not.
Yeah, you are. You're old. Like 30.
Okay,
Damn.
join in then. If you want to join in, I know I shouldn't be doing it like that, but
Yeah, you shouldn't.
it's the second time. It worked okay last time.
That's how we get docs. That's how we get,
that's how we get the troll wave.
Well, we get trolled like that, but we don't get doxed like that.
Yeah, I don't think we could actually. I don't know. I don't know shit about it.
I mean, I think you were there for that one stream, Modwain, where what was his name? Social Mutant got like drunk as shit and then started showing his ID, his credit cards, and God knows what else.
Yeah, well,
That's a good idea.
that's something that's not going to be easy. So, and I hope to be fast enough to then turn the screen to someone else, because now all we see is orange. So you can put on screen whatever you want. All you see is orange.
That's
Anyway,
great.
Dick, I'm going to put him on you now.
Yeah,
because-
okay. We can wait, but let's go
What
to
was the
this.
second subject? Remind me again.
Well, back in June, a document leaked out from Poland.
Are we in a different hangout?
No,
No, I mean... Damn it. One
What?
second. Oh. I'm fucking up big time. Yay!
Did you link the old one?
I guess I did.
Hey,
Man,
Modwain.
Modwain.
Link at the top of your
I know,
screen there.
I know.
Okay, so just sometimes, man.
I don't know. I'd almost say, well, yeah, no, it's Monday. It's been a long weekend. Still have a headache, but I'm just fucking up majorly today. Woohoo!
Because it just you
Thursday.
deserve the slow clap.
Yeah, I do. Anyway, that should be the good one then.
there we go.
Okay.
Yeah, he's right. Yeah, he's right there.
I don't even. Okay, that's the marked version. So sorry, I saw freaking pain from Naruto, and I was like, the fuck?
Hello.
Hey mate, welcome. We're going to start about the Europe thing.
Alrighty.
Yes, it's about this document which leaked out. It's brought by an English site, the Daily Express, and it's brought by German and French ministers of foreign affairs, and they've made this report where they plead to make an European Union superstate. And this also made some fury in Polish media. Well, it's a nine-page document, so I will go through them. Yeah, I will go to the most important stuff. It's a very big plan to make one European country, so to say.
So basically, it's just one whole state instead of like separate countries, like Germany and.
They want to put defense together. They want to put to make one monetary union, so one pension and one pay grade and whatever. So everywhere the same, and they want to make justice everywhere the same laws, and to do that they want to put all the funding together. So no country has anything to say anymore in that case. And the point is with the European Union, it's pushed, but it's not. Those people are not elected democratic. Let's put it that way. So. Yes, and in this document are some really scary points, and I think, and I've taken something out.
Yeah, I could only get to like page 3 of it, where I was like, God, this is long.
Yeah, it is long, but I've went.
The thing of it is like when they make documents really long like that, it's so people get bored.
Yes,
don't read it all the way through.
Yes.
No, but
Yes. There is a lot of corporate bullshit in it. Like useless language. They don't go to the point directly because they want to confuse non-expert people.
Exactly, and they're using these big words like it's all for the people, and it has a big arrogance. Let's put it that way.
Oh yeah.
And they talk about and this is made after the British decided to leave. Well, that has not happened, and okay. To prevent the silent creeping erosion of European project, we have to be more focused on essentials and on meetings on concrete expectations of our citizens. We are convinced that it's not the existence of the union that they object to, but the way it functions. So they are not saying, hey, the people are dissatisfied with the European Union, and actually a lot of them are against it. No, they are thinking we have to do it in another way.
So what they're trying to say is they don't like the idea of being one state. They don't like the idea of being one state and being ran in that way.
And well, we as a people probably, yeah, I don't know. I don't have any polls, but we are different countries. We are not one big country. We all have our different languages and different cultures. So
Yeah.
what they are pushing, that is not reality. We don't have a European feeling. We are not Europeans. We are Dutch. We are German. We are English. We are not European. Nobody has this feel, and they keep pushing this onto the people.
Let's keep it that way too. I just want to be Dutch. Let them be French. Let them be German.
Like that's the whole thing. I'm not saying that they're right. I'm saying what they're trying to say is people don't object the union. They object how it works.
Yes.
But like that's just what they're trying to say.
Well, I'm not convinced that they're wrong on that. I do think that the bigger problem is not so much the union in itself, but the way it is working. We have rules in our union now, in the European Union, that make sense and help people. But we also have rules which are absolutely flabbergasted. I mean, the destruction of Greece. Well, Europe had a hand in that. I mean, Greece had a big financial problem with some private banks, and the European Union bought those trouble to protect those banks. But in event, they've destroyed Greece. And people are recognizing this. The whole refugee issue that we are having, it's the European Union pushing forward a certain narrative, and a lot of people are not happy about this. But they keep pushing it forward. I mean, if you look at what Merkel did, even if you look at Hollande, even though he's now speaking out pretty often against the actions of ISIS and of Muslim terrorists in his country, they're still opening the borders.
Yeah.
I have a funny event for you. The French Minister of Housing, yes, the French Minister of Housing said that French people should open, like in Sweden, should open their houses to the migrants. And she took a great backlash after this declaration, because people were saying like, how many migrants did you take in your house? Because she earns a lot of money and she has a big house, and her husband is also a politician, and they are obviously rich. They have a great house, but she said that French people have to open their house to migrants, and yet I'm sure she will never take one migrant in her property. But yeah.
So she got great positive feedback, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm sure
Laws are
everybody
for
was
poor
like, well,
people.
sure, we'll take everyone in our house.
No, I think the French.
we will take everybody in the house.
I think people are quite fed up at this moment. So, but then they continue and they say France and Germany remain most firmly on the belief that the European Union provides a unique and indispensable framework for the pursuit of freedom, prosperity, and security in Europe, for shaping peaceful and mutual beneficial relationships amongst its people, and for contributing to peace and stability in the world.
Well, that's the problem.
I find that this sentence is too like cheesy. It's if they don't go to the point. They use like nice word. The sentence has a meaning, but it's too it's trying too hard to be like a greater thing that it is.
Utopia.
Yes.
Well,
That's
welcome.
the thing that always bothered me about the EU.
Welcome, Carlos, by the way.
Hello, guys.
And I'm
Hello.
sorry that I interrupted you, Dick, but I think what we're seeing here, though, is well, the shaping of truth. Because the European Union has in it the capacity of being great for Europe. It really has. But it's pushing a certain narrative. It's not the peace and the prosperity of Europe they're pushing. They're pushing the multiculturalism, the feminism, the look at how progressive we are position, whilst at the same time chopping away at a lot of, well, the laws that protect all of us.
Yes, and they talk about security and peace, but the reality is completely the opposite. And that they only make things worse.
I love the fact that in in Germany there has been a lawsuit for some of the guys in the Cologne attack, where the judge actually said that what they did was atrocious, terrible, and unimaginably bad, and then he gave him a slap on the wrist and said, "Don't come back again." He didn't punish them. And that's Europe at the moment.
Yeah, and some victims don't even report their rape because they don't want to encourage the racism.
Yeah.
That's fucked up.
It's not all Europe, but it's a few countries in Europe, yeah.
At the moment.
True.
Yeah.
But it's the biggest countries in Europe, it seems.
Yes.
And and it's Germany and France with the biggest problems, I think. And those are the two leading countries at this moment.
Yes, they are the leading countries.
And it also states here. Then they go on. We are together and we have the same values. And then they go further. France and Germany recognize their responsibility to reinforce solidarity and cohesion within the European Union. To that end, we need to recognize that member states differ in the levels of ambition member states when it comes to the project of European integration. While not stepping back from what we have achieved, we have to find better ways of dealing with different levels of ambition, so to ensure that Europe delivers better on the expectations of all European citizens. So if some countries are protesting, they have to be stimulated to do what they want. That's how I read that.
Sure.
Yes, and it's in fact what happened when I started to introduce the quotas for the migrant quotas. That was basically pushing you either accept the quotas that we insist, or we fine you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's it's blackmailing.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that part, and together with that whole security part that's coming up, kind of scared me a little bit.
Yes, what they are planning to do, they are not only planning to have one defense, but they are planning in that defense. They also talk about military and one police kind, and within that they want to so they want to take military and civil actions very smoothly. What that can mean, I don't know what that means exactly. What I can imagine is that they want one police state. That's how I read that.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
And after that, they also talk about enhancing social justice.
Oh no.
and okay, if we go to the root of what social justice is, that's not a problem. But if you look at what's in those councils in those racism councils, we have. If you look what's in the United Nations Councils of Human Rights, that's Saudi Arabia, and we have this woman from Jamaica who's in some kind of racism council. So and while her own and they are. How do you put it? They are busy with really small problems in this world, while bigger shit is going on in their own countries.
Oh yeah.
And these people completely have lost a sense of reality, what is going on, where normal, ordinary people live. So, yeah.
They don't see that there's a growing. I see tiny evidence of it, but it's so subtle. You really have to be waiting for it to appear that the people are getting fed up with this.
And
In every election from this year onward, the regressives are losing.
Badly.
They are. They're getting. You will see in France, it's going to be next year is going to be an awesome battle between Marine Le Pen and the rest of them, because they are going to join up, all of them, against Marine Le Pen, against the France Nationale. In Germany, Merkel is being so shitted on in the elections. She hasn't won. Her party hasn't won an election since last year, since she opened the floodgates. In Holland, Geert Wilders' party is getting a slight voice. He's slowly building. People are becoming discontented.
Yeah, there's actually a second party joining on the right side, or rather on the left side, but from a right perspective. Because if you look at the new party called Denk, which means think, they are very much on board with the way that what's his name in Turkey? I can't remember his name now.
Erdogan.
Yes, the way that Erdogan is doing his politics, Denk wants to basically do the same thing. So they're going to push for that too, and they're hoping to get a lot of people to vote for them, at least Turkish people, and with that they're going to open the floodgates for well, more racial tension, to be honest.
Exactly, yes. What's happening is the Eastern European countries, they're closing their borders. What will happen if Turkey, because they're becoming a dictatorship, they just need one more step is modified, which can be done. I've discussed it in a hangout I had a week or two ago. They need the council, basically their upper chamber, but their parliament, 2/3 majority of their parliament to start or whatever to modify their constitution. He has almost that. He's been vilifying. He's been cleaning up his opponents, so he can modify the constitution. He has just that step to become a full-fledged dictatorship now. If we allow that, if that happens, the Eastern European countries will reinforce their borders. Greece will be fucked. Greece will be absolutely flooded with people, and the other countries surrounding it, Macedonia, Serbia, Bulgaria, etc. They'll just say, nope, we're not going to let anyone pass here. If you want to take the immigrants, they have to go around.
Yeah.
You see, it's going to be, Greece is absolutely fucked, and what'll happen? The military in Greece they had a dictatorship up until 1974.
Yep, they've been turning to democracy more and more, but this will probably push them back into a totalitarian armed regime.
Exactly, or a party like they had the Golden, whatever it was a extreme right-wing party. What was its name? The Golden something.
Golden Dawn.
Golden Dawn. Yeah.
Golden Aurora or something.
Yeah.
That can come into power, and what'll happen? They'll just push them back into the sea. You see what I mean?
Basically they're opening the floodgates for racism.
Yeah.
But they're opening the floodgates for racism not so much because these are people with problems, but when they commit crimes, they pretend that it's not them.
Yes, that's the problem. We don't have in Europe anymore a traditional conservative parties that basically were they had some social conservatism, but economically they were quite liberal, but conservative generally. Like shit, I can't really think of any at the moment, but we don't have those type. It's just center, a bit off center to the right, not extremism. Like the Christian Democrats in Germany were 10 years ago under Kohl. What's his name? Kohl. We don't have that in Europe anymore.
No, that's true. It's a problem too, though, to be honest.
We need a reliable center-right party which they're being vilified. Anything that's right here to now in Europe is no, they're racist, they're bigoted, they're Islamophobes, they're sexist, they're misogynist, they're all that shit. Yeah.
But I think certainly Brexit was a turning point.
Yes.
I believe so. But if you look at the attacks after Nice, when they let hand, they always bring their flowers and mourn. But they also, where the terrorists died, the people spit and throw trash at that site where the terrorist had been shot to death.
Exactly.
And they were spitting, and they was angry, and there was real anger, and that was a very different reaction. And last week, a swimming pool in France, they wanted to have a bikini day. You know what a bikini is?
Oh,
Yes.
Okay, you know what happened?
No.
They got lots of death threats and bullet letters and stuff like that, and they got really they got a lot of threats.
They did that in Hull in England as well.
Yeah, I don't know this. I don't know that.
And they also did that last week. They booked no women, segregated women. The women would only have that. The Muslim women, they could dress up bikinis and all that shit, and they didn't allow the other public.
Yeah, because they wear a bikini. That's only. They have to wear the bikini because they don't show themselves. But the fact that they're in public still and other people are still there is still a problem. It's not about whether or not they are visible or anything.
You can see the form of the woman.
But you're already seeing this. I mean, there are feminists out there pushing to tell us how great Islam is for them. And in Europe, we're seeing what Islam is doing to them, or at least refugees from majority Islam countries. This is not going to end well. It cannot end well.
I hate Jesus. They almost deserve to have Sharia law under them. Those that say that feminism is good under
just to see how bad it is.
They would need that. I reckon. Oh God, they don't see it. They're stupid.
I give them 1 to 2 days.
Look at the example of that transgender woman in Dubai.
Yes, she was arrested because her gender on the passport wasn't. She wasn't matching the gender on her passport apparently, and she said no, her gender was conforming to her parents, but because she knew who she was, they arrested her for like 1 week.
No,
I don't
it
remember
was,
quite well.
no, it was only 6 hours.
Oh, it's 6 hours. Okay,
They didn't allow her to get out of the airport, but she was tweeting. I saw a video of her. Oh, it's so horrible, Dubai. It's not she blamed Dubai, but it's not Dubai. It's Islam.
Yeah, because if it were Dubai, then it wouldn't have happened in any of the other countries. But guess what?
Exactly.
It's a little bit annoying though, and it's kind of funny because currently I'm working on a small movie for YouTube on Black Lives Matter from Sweden, and it pisses me off because it's not even made by people supporting Black Lives Matter or people of part of the organization. It's actually made by a feminist organization in Sweden. They are so.
You saw
people in Sweden.
You saw the video where they said they support Black Lives Matter in America.
Oh God.
You saw it?
I'm not sure which one you mean. Sorry.
There is. You didn't. I don't know if it's the same organization, but I saw a video coming from Sweden, where you see black people saying they support Black Lives Matter, but a really commercial video. You didn't see it?
Yeah, it's probably the same one. And it's been made by a feminist organization in Sweden. And I'm like, feminism is part of the problem that the Swedish public recognizes now, or at least they are not addressing the real issue of rape because the rape is mostly done by refugees, and refugees cannot be oppressors because blah blah blah. Women in Sweden are actually starting to recognize more and more, or at least this is what I found here and there.
Didn't they say in the news over there that it's all the woman's fault for getting raped and shit?
No, really.
Yes, there have been feminists saying stuff like that. This is the same what happened in Cologne when the German what do you call it, mayor basically said, well, you just should keep them on arm's length.
Yeah. These people are lunatics. These people are fucking crazy.
The irony in that stance is just staggering.
But that's basically also the problem that we have with the way how do you call it? Europe is developing now. It's not because people are against Europe. It's because Europe is against its people.
Well, yeah. You mean Europe or the European Union?
The European Union.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Well, I believe in a Europe that works together, but I don't see the European Union has a place in that. I think it needs to go.
I agree.
I really think we need to go back to how do you say it? Back to where we were.
Individual countries.
No, yeah.
Before the Lisbon Treaty.
Yes, and then we can take a time to think what we have done and what we should not do, and a little more easy going. Let's put it that way. What I was wanted to say, the reaction on the attacks are definitely in the Netherlands we call it a veenbrand. Well, in English that would be a wildfire, but then beneath the ground, you know, a fire still going on beneath the ground. That negative feeling we have towards our politicians.
Well, that's also, isn't that also why people like Geert Wilders are getting a whole lot of attention?
Yes, but
people are getting more discontented by the day.
Yes, but the people and especially the media, they are demonizing him. It's just like the I think it's in every European country, but it's just like the Trump and the Hillary thing. They're talking Hillary up to the sky, and Trump is a very sociopathic bastard.
But we're seeing this, and this is something that Carlos said earlier. We're seeing this in politics all over the world. Right-oriented are absolutely winning, where left-oriented are absolutely being shoved under the ground because we start recognizing how much bullshit they're peddling.
Yes, and we're now at the point how more noise they are making, how more growth the right has, because they have to go over the top, and more people are seeing what kind of craziness it really is.
But in a way that makes me worried too, because don't get me wrong, I do not support Geert Wilders. I think he's an idiot as well. Yeah, but it seems we don't. We only seem to be left with the choice between someone lying to us from the left and someone lying to us from the right. There is no middle ground anymore.
Well, welcome to politics.
Yeah.
Lesser of two evils, baby.
Yeah.
What was it? The douche and the third sandwich, right?
Yeah, but you have to imagine what's the alternative? It's yeah. What can I say? What is another option on the table?
Your vote blank.
Well, I wouldn't mind going back to more libertarian views, even if they're based on the left or on the right. But where people will still say, okay, there are a bunch of rules that we all have to abide by, and if you abide by these rules, you're welcome. If you do not abide by these rules, you get punished.
Yep.
And no one looks at color, no one looks at race, because, listen, as soon as you do something wrong, you do something wrong, period. But now we see people doing something wrong, but because they're refugees, they don't get punished because poor refugees.
No, the short and sweet of the entire race thing is we live in shades of gray. And the reason I say that is there's white people, there's black people, there's slightly off brown people. It's all just shades, man. Just let it go. Doesn't freaking matter.
It really doesn't.
I don't understand where the guilt of Sweden come from, because it wasn't a colonialist country. The country has, as long as I remember, always be progressive, and they don't have much crime in their nation. So why are they so willing to enforce this type of policies?
Intersectional feminism.
Yes, but I know, but how can you how intersectional feminism got all this power? It's not something you can get like that.
No, I think what happened, or at least what I see what happened, is that people started thinking being egalitarian isn't good enough. You have to be a feminist if you're really left. And people started creating their own echo chamber. And Sweden is a great example of that echo chamber. Stockholm already had a problem at their major train station, because a lot of refugees were hanging out there and they were assaulting women. And the police didn't do anything because, well, they're refugees. So a bunch of Swedish guys stood up and said, okay, we're going to clean this station. They actually warned people that they were going to do it. So when they actually did do it, not a lot of violence happened. And the police said, okay, this is terrible. We need to act now. And they started looking for the people to arrest. And guess what? Not the ones that cleaned the station. Not the ones that committed the crimes, but the ones that cleaned the stations were now being targeted by the police.
That's fucking ridiculous, man.
Yeah, but that's
We as the people should hold police force accountable for their actions more.
No, it's not the police force. They're doing what they're told to do.
I mean, we should have them held accountable to us instead of what they're being told.
Yeah, but they aren't accountable to us. They're accountable to their job, and the job is being dictated by politics, and politics are being voted in.
Here's the thing, man. When it comes to this whole intersectional feminism thing, everybody sees it, knows it's bad, but everybody's going to act like it's a good thing. If you take a flag and you hoist it up in the air and tell everybody that's the flag that's good, and then you hoist another one up and say that's the one that's bad, the more people are going to flock to that good flag because they were told it's good. And over the years, has it done good things? Sure. But eventually, when they change all of the rhetoric, flip-flop it completely, and now the good flag's the bad one, but everybody already associates the good flag as the good one. And that's where we ran into the problem.
I'm going to be very nasty when I say this, and I know not a lot of people agree with me, but I challenge everyone everywhere, always, to name one thing feminism has achieved that is not segregatory at heart. There has nothing been in the history of feminism that has not been segregatory. And therefore it's a hate movement. I'm sorry. They've never been about equality. Not even in the very old days. But still we seem to think that pushing feminism is a good thing. It's a progressive thing. Sweden is the most progressive country in Europe, apparently.
But by a long shot. A long shot.
But they're also the biggest problem.
Yes. I agree.
Think about it this way, man. You were told that feminism was a good thing when you were growing up. I'm sure everybody was told that.
Yes,
and if you get told a lie long enough, you start to believe it.
Yeah, you're right.
And that's why it's the good flag, everybody. Hear it out. It's the good flag.
Yeah, you're right about that.
At some point, you have to look at the shop you've been maintaining and see it's just a fucking mess. But if you admit that, everybody knows you were wrong and you lose your power position. So you have to continue. You have to double down. That's what's happened. That's what Juncker is doing. That's what Merkel is doing. After all these German attacks, he said we'll continue because at the moment she says, okay, this was wrong. She's weak and she needs to go. So that's how it works. So what they are doing, they are just doubling down and continuing in their madness.
Yeah, it does seem that way.
In France, I read today that they are starting to teach children how to avoid terror attacks.
Yeah.
Really?
In Sweden.
I'm not even aware of that.
In Sweden, they gave 6- and 7-year-old girls bracelets. Please do not rape me, or something like that. And please
I
do
read
not
that. Yeah. Yes.
Really good.
Jesus Christ,
Guys,
man.
they did it. They stopped rapists.
Yep.
Here's the thing, Cheese. And this is the big question: are they teaching terrorists not to terror?
Are they teaching black people to not steal cars?
That's racist.
Exactly.
I made a video on race, so I don't agree with races. Sorry, guys. And I
At
explained
this point, who even cares about being called racist and
exactly?
sexist?
Because
I've been called racist.
Just like, thank you. Can we get to the
Yes.
fucking point now?
the color is blue. No, it's not. You racist. That's how it works now.
Well, here's
that's
the
how it
thing.
works.
In an argument, somebody calls you a racist or sexist, you'd be like, okay, now what's your point?
Exactly. That's what I argue. Yeah.
What's the damn point?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, sure, I've said things that could be construed as racist. I've said things that could be construed as sexist. Well, guess what? I have absolutely no fucks given about that. Because I may say something that's racist, but deep down inside, I am less of a racist than the Black Lives Matter movement. Because I'm not going to hold it against them that they're black. I will hold it against them that they're stupid.
Absolutely.
I feel you,
Okay,
man.
guys,
I've been called racist, sexist, homophobic, transphobic, xenophobic, fucking
Age-phobic,
genderqueerphobic,
gender.
and God knows what else.
Ah, yes, yes.
No, I'm serious. I've been called genderqueerphobic. Like, that's a real thing.
Okay, Tex.
What?
Just to exemplify how ridiculous these arguments get, I have been called a cishet homophobe by a young lady who has probably taken far less dicks than I have.
Now, I have but one question for you. What the hell is a cishet homophobe?
Okay, apparently cis is cisgender, which apparently means that they just confirm the having a penis or having a
The
vagina.
gender matches the sex.
Yeah, gender and sex match up.
Okay,
whatever.
so basically that you're normal, and you're not
Yeah,
fucked in the head.
Not
You
ridiculous.
cannot say normal.
Yes. Oh wait, that's true. That's true. I can't say
You just
normal.
Say you don't. You
It
don't
is normal, but we have to call it cis now, apparently.
I
Yes.
was saying normal.
It's
Okay.
dysphoria, gender dysphoria, the scientific term. If you
Yeah.
if you want to say they are a normal, say they have a gender dysphoria.
Het just stands for heterosexual.
I swear I had a 5 hour long argument with someone, and they tried to tell me, I kid you not, they tried to tell me that there were more than two genders.
Yes,
And
yes.
they kept telling me, look in the dictionary, it's the same thing. I look in the dictionary, they're not the same thing. So what now?
I just tell them, no, God, what's that word? Your personality is not a gender.
I
That's it.
just
I
have
shut
to
the-
point
the
out this
company.
thing, like, the only possibility they would have for any more than two genders is hermaphrodites, and that is a genetic disorder. I mean, Jesus. When you come out with a penis and a vagina and you can't reproduce, guess what? It's a genetic disorder, not fucking gender.
And that's about
I-
2% of the population.
It's kind
Yeah.
of
I
like,
accept,
even if there were more genders, just don't be a cunt.
Yeah, don't be a
You're
dick
right.
about it.
There are only two genders, and that's it. Transgenderism, I accept it. If you're a male, you trans to a
You're small.
female. You
Yeah.
become a female.
Well,
If you're a
basically-
female, yeah. So there's only two genders. You can have that, but other than that, it's personality. Personality is not your fucking gender.
No, but that's the thing, though. Transgenderism proves that there are only two genders.
Yes, exactly.
Transgenderism proves how many mentally ill people we have in the world.
Well, the funny thing is, or at least funny, I don't know if funny is the right word now, but we see a rise in transgenderism, we see a rise in gender dysphoria, and we see a rise in women now also transgendering into men. So there are women who are actually afraid of staying woman because of whatever it is that fears them.
Again, we have too many faggots, we have too many trainers, we have too many everything in this effed up generation.
Here's the short and simple of it. We as a generation, after probably, I don't know, anybody who's under the age of probably 25, anybody after that generation is fucking confused. That's what they are. That's the short and simple of it. They are just so confused about what everything is. Because we had, right before that generation, we had this piss poor everybody special generation, which fucked it all up. Which turned it to everybody special. How can I be more special? And like when you get to that, how can I be more special? You start going into the levels of insanity. I am a paranoid schizophrenic, and I'm more sane than these people.
But yeah, no, this is indeed part of the issue, and
Yeah, because
again, I'm blaming intersectional feminism, and it's really unfair of me to push everything on the shoulder of feminism, but I'm not pushing it on the shoulder of feminism, but intersectional. Because with intersectionality, basically, being a victim became a currency. You have to listen to me, because I am oppressed more than you are. Therefore, I am more right than you are, because if you do not agree with me, it proves how you are more oppressing than I am. Therefore, your point is wrong and you're part of the problem.
But like, Mod, all that boils down to when you see a victim of something, people want to help that victim. And they see that as being special or being more
a real
important.
victim, that is. Yeah.
This whole problem dragging back to everybody wants to be more special, so more people listen to them. It's fucking ego, and it's out of hand.
And because of this weak-minded and feministic society, especially here in Europe, another culture who produces a lot of more children can take it more over easily. And that's also because within certain other cultures the family ties are much stronger than the.
Oh wow, we still have 7 pages to go.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Let's continue with the original one. I know.
Wait, I have something to say. I think I have an idea to destroy intersectional feminism, and it's something completely silly, but all men will have to identify as transgender lesbians. Black transgender lesbians. And since
No, you're too late, mate. You are too late. This is why transgenders and why gays are no longer high on the oppression list, because people know that they can do this, therefore, boom.
then what is mandatory now? So
Yeah, you have to be black, or Arab, or Muslim.
American.
Not even a
Anything,
woman.
no, basically anything other than a white straight male.
Yeah, you have to be anything but a white straight man. I mean, you could be a white
Fucking
woman.
white male.
That's still acceptable somehow.
You could
Sounds like I'm fucked.
A Muslim
You are.
man is more oppressed than a Muslim woman. Figure that out.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, that's. I
The
don't know.
hijab is an empowering.
Oh yeah, you're right. It's a sign of empowerment. It's a sign of their feminism. Look at what I can do.
Yeah.
That's true. No, it's a good
Exactly.
point actually.
Fucking idiots.
And that wraps up my participation. I have to go, guys. Thank you for inviting me. It's been a pleasure and an honor speaking to you guys and being in your presence. Thank you
Likewise.
all. Thank you.
Thanks, Carlos.
Thank
See
you for
later.
joining, Carlos.
Hello,
Thank you.
everybody.
Cheers, man.
Carlos.
Bye bye,
Bye,
man.
bye,
Bye bye,
bye.
guys.
Anyway, let's continue with the document because
Yes.
Dick did do a lot of work on this one.
Oh well, yeah, but there, let's see how far we come.
It's too long, man.
Yeah, no, I'm going fast through it. To deliver better, they are talking about an economic and monetary union. So just one European bank. Well, it's already a bit in place, but also one pension you have to and one welfare state and stuff like that. And they in this stable cooperative framework for dealing with migration and refugee flows. So they're calculating the migration and the refugees in this economic European thing. Then they talk. They are being put to the test. We see terrorists attempting to spread fear and division in our societies. We have to face increasingly interwoven internal and external challenges. We see the need to preserve the combination of growth, competitiveness, and social cohesion, which lies at the heart of our European model, while preserving our common values both internally and vis-à-vis the outside world. We know there are no quick solutions to this very day. So what they are saying here, where is it? They want to uphold our values, and they want to keep going with the growth, the competitiveness. So they want to continue on making money, and how to deal with the terrorists and the fear and the division in the society. They have no answer to that. But they,
except for bringing in more refugees.
yes, that's good for the economy. They think. Because most of them come in welfare, because I think and they are not good for the economy. Let's put it that way. Most of them come in the welfare. They're only good for voting. They're only good for the votes, and that's why they bring in their whole families. More votes for the leftists.
You actually made them work, you know.
Yeah. Somewhat, yeah. Of course, they're not all. There are people who are going to work, but to say they are good for the economy, that's a lie.
But I don't understand. Even if they went for work, there is no work. I don't know how is the situation in the other Europe countries, but we have like. I don't remember exactly, but millions of people who have no work. So
yes, and how are you going to solve that to bring more people in?
yes.
Exactly. So what are they doing? Where are they busy with? And they also say by promoting convergence, if I say that right. And what they mean by that is that in all countries we all need the same salary, the same pension, and the same taxes. That's what they are pushing for. Okay. So that maybe that's good if you live in the eastern countries, but if you live at this side, we have to pay for it.
Hey, Dick.
Yes.
And everybody else, I just joined this out of the group there. What is this document we are reading?
Do you have a link?
Some European document that they want to, make a super state.
Yes, and they want to combine the monetary stuff, so one tax nation, and they want to make one court in law, one law, and they want to make one military, and stuff like that. They want to build one big country.
Yeah,
sounds like the bullshit EU is based off of.
No, it is the EU we're talking about, mate.
Yes.
I posted the link in the chat. Chat.
But and also what they say, we see terrorists attempting to spread fear and division, and they say we know there are no quick solutions to this very day. So the problems are rising, and you keep opening your borders for more people. So the problems are getting bigger and bigger, but you don't have any solutions for it.
How about shutting the borders, figuring out solutions, and then open them again?
You're talking too much like Donald Trump now.
Well, I mean,
it makes too much sense.
We gotta stop this, before more terror attacks happen.
These people are completely crazy. The Juncker, who's leading all this stuff, nobody elected him. Nobody. But he is pushing this agenda forward and forward. So
I'm glad you're explaining this a little bit, because half of it I was just like, I have to look this shit up, man.
well, what they want to do, they make the stuff we talked about. They might want to make one monetary union, so one tax and all one salary for the same job, everywhere the same. So they want to make one big, even, like it's everywhere the same.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then they continue, that's the monetary part, and then they continue, France and Germany recommit to shared vision of Europe as a security union based on solidarity and mutual assistance between member states in support of common security and defense policy, providing security to Europe as well to contributing to peace and stability globally at the heart of the European project. So, but what Europe actually is doing with the Ukraine, they are destabilizing Europe more in that way, and they keep talking like they are making peace. Only the problems are only getting bigger and bigger with Turkey going on. I don't know. Are you guys a bit up to speed with the Turks?
Not really.
Okay.
I'm hearing that he's gonna be the next dictator.
Well, what you can compare what happened with that failed coup? That's the same thing. What happened in the 30s with Hitler with Reichstag monument? Can you help me, Modwain? There was supposed to be a Dutch guy who set it on fire, and that gave Hitler a great power to make a great purge.
Yeah.
Like Erdogan is doing. He's suspending all licenses in educations, but at some point he is going to take on even the cleaning ladies. He's purging them. And what happened in Germany? They how many Turks were there with this protest? They were shouting for the death penalty. They are not Germans. If you are German and you are shouting for the death penalty, you are not integrated in the democratic country of Germany. These people are not Germans. These people are Turks, and they are shouting, "We will die for you if you ask for it."
But this is the funny thing, though. I mean,
what I want to say, Germany is filled with millions of millions, I don't know, but with a lot of new Nazis already, which are willing to fight for Erdogan. So his army is already here.
Yeah.
Well, this is the funny thing, though, and the comparison you make to the Reichstag is also not completely unwarranted, because the more information we get on the coup attempt in Turkey, the more we know, or at least the more we learn, that doesn't seem to be a well-thought plan after it. So it makes sense to assume that this is done by a group of people just to make waves, which is kind of the Reichstag thing. Sorry. Which is kind of the Reichstag thing as well. I mean, it made waves, and it forced a society to polarize even further. And this is what we're seeing in Turkey now.
Yeah, but you also see it here in Germany and the Netherlands. Turks are attacking other Turks and Kurds. They are threatening each other. They are throwing in windows. all these sects and these groups and these tribals, these conflicts they have together, we imported them here. And now we have enormous groups of supporters of, well, let's see where this is going, but I think we have a big problem here with a lot of these Turkish people at the moment. They are willing to fight for him. So, Jesus, man, and they have big numbers.
Well, the only thing I can say is, yeah, but not all.
Of course not. Of course not. No, of course. But those are the ones who are not real Turks, and those are the ones who get attacked. You know?
Yeah, because that's something we're seeing happening at the moment in Europe as well. People who identify as supporter of Gulen are now not safe in the Netherlands, in Germany, because they get attacked by other Turks.
No, you're with Erdogan or you're against Erdogan, and if you're against Erdogan, you got a big problem.
Yeah, that's basically the situation. That is true.
Yeah. But that's one thing, and so they talk about when they talk about making peace and stuff like that. It's one big joke, man. it's a one big joke. But okay, and they go on. They talk about the historic agreement on Iran's nuclear program, and after that they talk about the Minsk process with the military confrontation in eastern Ukraine that spilled out of control. And then they talk that their diplomatic effects had a good positive influence. They are so full of themselves, and they are only creating more and more problems. And yeah.
You know, the people who make this, the person who writes this paper isn't aware of what is happening outside. And when I say outside, it's because these people are rich and they live, their life is very nice neighborhood, nice rich neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
They go to their work in their not desk, or I don't remember how you say it in English, desk, like the place you work.
Yeah, desk office.
Desk job.
Their office, yes. They go to their nice office and they think, oh, I'm a great person, I'm making the world better, and they write some bullshit, knowing nothing about the life of regular people, and oh yes, I'm so great, I'm making the world a better place, and they don't know. I'm genuinely wondering if they even watch the news, or even if the news are manipulated, but you can see that there is tension in the population, and yet they continue to apply their useless and dangerous policies. So I'm confused on this subject. Yes. Are they like they don't give a fuck, or are they really ignorant? That's a big question.
Yeah, I think that plays a role. They are not confronted daily with the mess they make. Yeah. I think that's so, and after that they live in this fantasy world of diversity and inclusiveness.
Yes.
And with that, even though this whole document, it represents the complete mindset of the European Union if you work there. They talk about goals in the short and the long-term future. This is what they have ahead of them, and they don't care what the worker on the street thinks about it. No, you know it better than that. It's also arrogance.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, I can say, just from what I've seen of this document, it boils down to the same heart as SJW arguments, where they're actually rooted to try and solve problems, but they have no concept of how the real world works and how it could adversely affect before they start implementing shit.
In that, that's correct. And in that ambition, they stray for complete control.
It's like a horse with blinders on.
Yes.
They refuse to see what else is happening around them. All they see is one goal. And it's a problem that I have with SJWs is because if you look at almost everything, their goals are pretty fucking noble. It's just they're retarded on follow through.
Yeah, but that's the thing, though. The road to hell is paved with good intentions. And that's what we're traveling that road right now.
Yeah, but
I didn't wanted to do that. I wasn't aware of the consequences. But it's too late.
But shouldn't they have like people researching this kind of stuff?
Well, that's another good point, and this is something I might
Don't they have people considering the pros and the cons of each and every policy they make and want to implement?
It's even one worse, because this is something Tilder showed in one of them, or rather explained in one of his movies, but he's not the first one to do that. What we are seeing is bias confirmation. So most of the social sciences are what we now call regressive left.
Yeah.
And if they research something and it does not fit their narrative, it does not get published.
Very straight ignore the facts.
Yes.
Well, not only that, I've been saying this for years. You can research something till you're blue in the face. Narrative is like the outcome is whatever narrative you want to follow. Like we can find, let's take domestic disputes. I can look at one community and I can write a whole report on how men always hit women, and 96% of all domestic disputes are males. Like the ones that actually are the perpetrators are the males.
Mm-hmm.
And if I was a feminist, that's a great statistic, and I can back it up with fact out of one small study. The other studies I can find say that men are drastically more affected than women. And the one I actually believe is one where they take both studies, combine them, and they separate the difference.
Yeah.
But you won't find anyone that actually, anybody recognizable that doesn't have the bias to take both studies.
That's because in social sciences, there is no discourse. Either you are basically regressive left, or you're quiet, but you will not speak out against it, which is in itself a problem. This is why certain sociological studies, gender studies, another funny thing, gender studies, we call it gender studies. When has a gender study ever been about men?
It's women studies in reality.
But it doesn't suit their narrative.
Exactly.
And if it doesn't suit their narrative, it never happened. And that's the problem. But we see this not only in our social structure, we are seeing this in our political structure. We now have political leaders who will tell you why they are right and don't take no for an answer. And that's what this document is showing too.
Yeah. Never really looked at it from that point of view.
Why not?
I know. It is. I always figured that research would and didn't take into account the biases. If you know what
No, research is the
Modwain.
bias.
No, I don't think the research is the bias. I think when people start this type of research, they already start with an idea of the results. When, for example, a feminist says, well, I'm going to do a study to see how the violence in couple happens, she didn't launch the research to find honest data, not honest, but true data, true information. She launched the research because she thinks that a lot of women are battered by their husband, and she thinks the outcome of the research will be what she thinks. So they can do their research, and they will find maybe that they were wrong, but because they had this initial idea before they launched the research, then you will have the results that they wanted since the beginning. So I think.
But
Just making confirmation bias.
Well,
this also happens in just science research and stuff, or what?
yeah, even you know what?
Okay.
The confirmation bias thing is something that will happen no matter what kind of research you do. And
Okay, cool.
it's inevitable due to the fact that in order to research something, you're going to have a personal interest in it, and you're going to want some sort of outcome.
Yeah.
You're going to want to be either completely disproven or completely proven.
Jesus.
Nice.
Hey, I gotta take off, guys. Sorry.
Later, Tech.
I'm sorry, thanks for coming, mate.
Thanks for having me.
I'm going to try to pick up on you because I still want to do that message to the police.
Alrighty, no problem. But just message me on Skype or something.
Will do, mate. Will do. Be
See
good,
you
mate.
guys.
Bye bye.
You Tex.
Have a good one.
Yeah.
So,
See you, Tex. Yeah, sorry about the outburst earlier.
Get them youngins under control.
Yeah, that's the thing with kids.
Cute to bitch slap, though.
No such thing.
Anyway, where were we?
well, we were that Germany and France propose a European security compact which encompasses all aspects of security and defense dealt with at the European level and thus delivers on the European promise to strengthen security for its citizens. So they want one defense program, but the NATO is already in place, so why needs the European Union his own army?
Yeah, I didn't really get that either.
No,
Because they want to have a global. I think it's not to make a powerful army. I think it's more to control the individual army of each country.
exactly.
Well,
And also their spendings.
I got something to say on this EU thing, because EU is completely different than North America. You got borders that are only a couple hundred kilometers apart from each other and everything else, and you already have a somewhat open border system, do you not? Or am I mistaken?
Yeah,
Yes,
somewhat.
yes.
So on that side, correct me if I'm wrong, what I could see as like the base for that is to provide some sort of regulation on the border crossing where all these countries can get together and do their studies, do their talks and everything, and they can all have kind of an equilateral border policy. Or am I just kind of fetching for hope that there might be hope for EU?
Well, you're not wrong, but at the same time, yeah, you're also fetching for hope. The problem is that we do have a lot of people in Europe that recognize the situation. And the problem is not that we are allowing foreigners in or that we are allowing refugees in. That's not the problem. The problem is that some of these guys are committing crimes. And we're not addressing that. We're not punishing them. But we are punishing people for talking out against the fact that they are committing crimes. Germany has arrested people because they had Facebook groups where they complained about how they didn't like the way the countries were dealing with their refugees. They got arrested for saying that they're not happy about what happened.
The new Stasi.
The new Stasi.
You know, like, as much as I talk to you guys and everything, and you guys are the only ones that I know that can give me a first-hand opinion of like Germany and whatever, I have to wonder, isn't there more to those stories?
No.
Unfortunately, I wish you were right.
No, it begins like, okay, we have one border, you can work in every European country, and we have €1. You know, that's the story they give to you. But the planning ahead, what they are now pushing for, they have already done that 40 years ago. You have to imagine, these are all programs they are pushing us, and they have decided this maybe 40, 50 years ago already within. So they are trying to make something out of us what we are not. That's how simple I can say it.
And I think if they wouldn't have dealt with the refugee situation as they are doing now, if they would have picked that up better, then probably people in Europe wouldn't complain because they wouldn't realize what's going on.
Yeah,
but now we realize because we see what's happening.
Yep.
I mean, they're trying to make Europe into the United States of Europe.
Which is never going to
That
happen.
would never work.
No,
I'm not going to say it would never work, but our current politicians do it in such a terrible way that basically white people have it bad in their own countries.
That
Well,
could
no,
happen, but
I can actually tell you that it would never work as long as the world spins. And the reason why is the same reason why, like, okay, UAE works, but if you were to go UAE throughout all of the Arab countries, there's so much cultural differences that it couldn't. It's
That's the
theoretically
problem.
impossible.
Yes,
And that's the way I see Europe as a foreigner that's never been there, is the culture in Germany might be equatable to the culture in Belgium, but it's nowhere near the culture in France and England.
yes. In
Actually-
France
Actually,
also.
the funny thing is that's not true.
Really?
The culture in Germany.
The German culture matches a lot the French culture, and we had really close borders, and we
Germany-
had a part of Germany since.
Yeah. Germany, France, and England are more comparable to each other than people think. The Dutch, the Belgians, we all share basically the same root.
In Switzerland, they speak German, French, Italian, and another language. So
Yeah. So the problem is not that the different states are incompatible with each other. The difference is the way we are dealing with the refugee situation at the moment. And one of the states is pushing for the rest of Europe to do what they are doing. This is the main reason why people in the UK decided, you know what, I'm out. This is no longer good for me.
and also what they have done to our social security system. Our elderly who've been cut on their pensions and stuff like that. Where does all that money go? You know. And people, and those are also things that also does not help the European Union.
And the interest on your savings accounts just keep getting lower and lower.
You know, this idea of one Europe, the Romans have tried it. They maintained it for the longest period. Napoleon has tried it. It didn't work out. We had 80 years battle with the Spains about it, and that also didn't work out very well. Germany has tried it with Hitler to make the Third Reich, to make one Europe. It also didn't work, and now they're trying it again, and this will also not work. People are fed up with it's a fascist regime. What the people who are deciding for us there, they are not elected, and it's that simple.
It's also kind of like which laws do they want to uniform, you know? Like, are we going to have Stasi here in the Netherlands? I mean, fuck that.
Yeah, but exactly. But that's what they are, and that's later on also in this document with the social justice stuff like that, racism laws, stuff like that. And you don't as a country, as the Netherlands or as Germany or as England, used to be, but you don't have any say in that anymore. I mean, you can't say fuck off, because then you are being cut in all the kinds of subsidization and stuff like that. I don't know, man. It's not democracy anymore. This is not democracy. What is happening here, and people are seeing that. I think this is not democracy.
I have a
Hopefully we're
question.
seeing that.
I have a question to ask. So if I understand, there are one people from England, another one, now on the stream, one people from England and one from the Netherlands. That's it?
I think we've got 3 people from the Netherlands, actually. And then there's you, and then there's someone from America, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, so
go a little bit north there, Modwain. I mean, Tom, that sounds like Modwain.
okay.
Are you Canadian then? Okay, I'm sorry.
Did your government implemented some kind of special section in the government and the police to censor like independent news, independent journals, because they apparently propagate conspiracy theory.
Okay, I can actually answer this from a North. Am I the only one from North America?
I guess so.
At the moment.
Okay, well, I'm in Canada, and I'll be honest, we cannot, like, our mainstream media, it's heavily government funded, as in grants and what have you, to promote media in Canada.
Yeah.
The problem is there's actually documents out there that have proven this. If you are caught saying anything that could be overly controversial, the government no longer funds you. So to like our national broadcasters, that are not government run, I can say City TV, Global, and CTV. Those are the three that are not owned by the government. If they were actually to associate Islam with ISIS and point out that Muslims follow Islam, they can essentially lose billions in government funding. And that's why right now the only news in our country that will say, hey, Islam is bad, aka Muslim is bad, is on the internet. There is no mainstream media even allowed to say that, or else we're fucked.
No, can I make a little add-on on this? I follow V on YouTube. I don't know if you guys know V. He's Romanian.
No, I don't know him.
Okay, but he talks about a lot of this stuff also. And he had some proposals from the European Union, and I don't know if these are already laws, but media companies have to have a certain percentage of positive speech. Okay.
Yeah, that's
okay.
Like quotas.
Exactly. So many blacks, and you have to have some good Muslims on the televisions, and a gay imam, and a little percentage of that has to be in your media. This is positive speech. You all this diversity stuff.
Okay, but it's special. But excuse me, I have to say this. I asked this question because in France we have really it's not like something if you don't comply with the government, you will lose funding. It's true, but what is really I will say laughable, it's in France, journalists eat with our politicians. They are in the same circles. They go to the same parties. They have the same hobbies. They do everything together. So the politicians in France don't have really much to be afraid of the mainstream media. They are more afraid of independent media, like I said earlier. And in France, we have now, I don't exactly know if it is a part of the government. Basically, they made some sort of organization. The only aim of this organization is to control the news given by independent media and find like not controversial but criminal things to make this independent media close. To sue them or whatever, to find a way to restrain their speech, because they know independent media, and more people in the French population are are starting to take the news from independent media and not television or anything else.
Yeah,
So
that's also here. Also here that more people
okay.
are going from the mainstream onto the internet.
Yeah, that's. I
And
think
they
that's a
really feel
worldwide
that.
phenomenon.
Yeah. Ever since 9/11, I just quit watching TV, pretty much.
Well, it's a shame though, because why do we get more and more? Why do we have the feeling that we cannot trust our own media?
Yeah,
Because they fucking lie to us, saying like they won't
Because-
persecute people that go to Syria, and then you come back and get locked up in fucking jail.
Well, no, it's not just that. It's greed. Like
Yeah, that too.
I'd classify myself as a business person, and what you have to think is when you get into media, you're into business, right? Well, you have to get your funding to be in business from somewhere.
Yeah.
Now, say you're not getting any government funding whatsoever, the government still has a way to stifle you. And I'm not trying to get all tinfoil hat and say the government's after everybody. Because right now in Canada we have what is called the rebel media.
Yes.
They are a right-wing channel. We have no conservative media other than them.
I wouldn't really call them right wing, to be honest.
Well, by today's Canadian standards, they're very right.
They are right wing.
I would call them libertarian, to be honest.
Well, yes, but we don't. I'll be honest. It's only been 8 months since I even heard the phrase libertarian.
Okay.
And the more I look into it, the more I fall into the libertarian. But I do believe in government control, so I'm a little bit confused. But the thing is there's other ways to stifle them. Like what they did find out. I'll give you just the rebel story here that's been out. Is we have Freedom of Information Acts in Canada that are normally free.
Mm-hmm.
Well, since Rebels started up, 6 months later, the Liberal government decided, okay, we are now going to impose fees for businesses that want information. And for them to get one document was going to cost them over $5,000.
Yeah.
Oh, 5,000 euros.
So there's a way, even if you're not getting funded by the government, if you are very opposed to what they are saying, what they're going to do is they're going to make it so difficult that you can't actually.
Do your job.
You're stuck doing anecdotal evidence rather than real facts.
Yeah.
And I'm like, as much as I love Rebel, I can point out 5 stories right now that I could disprove and show, hey, they're looking at some sort of other narrative, and they're pushing the complete opposite side than the SJWs. Like, it just doesn't work. You look at the facts, you compile the facts, guess what? The right-wing news is wrong, the left-wing news is wrong, let's look in the middle.
Yeah, this is kind of what the Young Turks used to be as well, but they've migrated regressively, unfortunately.
You know, what I do when I want to get information, I watch every media, leftist media, right wing media, independent media, and I do the cross comparison, and then I see, okay, this media said this one said that, so when I think about it, I think this one is lying about this lying about this one say the truth maybe, so okay, this information in reality is this. And I basically do a journalist job. It's ridiculous, but it's the only way to have true information on one subject today, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Should we go back to the article?
You know what?
Yeah, let's go back to the article though, because
can I say one more thing on what was
sure.
just said? That is a great way to think of it, but you look at it, essentially we are all geeks in the modern age. Now, if you look at somebody else, who's going to take the time to look at both medias to make their own informed decision?
Nobody.
True.
That's my point. I think whichever way you side, I think my point was made. And we're all going to look for the easiest media that we can find.
Well,
I just look to you guys.
that's the problem with people. We try to find those that agree with us. We have to actively stop doing that, and this is difficult for some people. Anyway, let's continue the article. Sorry, Dick. You did put a lot of work in it.
Yeah, and I'm sorry too.
Oh, no problem. We can always continue later on, but there are some few interesting points still. So they are willing to make this one army. For
You
instance,
should maximize the window, Dick.
Anyway, go ahead. Well, that's pretty big.
For instance, Germany will promote integrated UN foreign and security policy, bringing together all European Union policy instruments. So all the foreign affairs will come together. They want to make more action where it's needed. We therefore need stronger and more flexible crisis prevention and crisis management capabilities. The EU should be able to plan and conduct civil and military operations more effectively with the support of a permanent civil-military chain of command. I find this very interesting, this civil part.
Yeah. I didn't really understand what that meant.
They want one military operation and they want to make them more effectively. So if there's some hostage situation of terrorist attack, they want to be there as fast as possible with the best men trained for it and blah, 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 blah. So, and they wanted one chain of...
I understood that, but the civil military chain.
Yeah, the civil one. Well, I guess in case of terrorist attacks, but that you can also misuse it. I found this very strange. So that's actually a military police.
In my opinion, this is just a government militia. It's not. Why would you need a military intervention?
Because they know more than you and I, and they know more attacks will come. They know more than you and I. This will increase.
Okay.
That's what I suspect. Otherwise, why would they want to do this? In a peaceful society, why do you want military operations in the civil area? Why? or are they planning to sweep down the banlieues or what?
When I think about it, do you know that France is in how do they call it in English? Basically, the country is in a state where you have constant surveillance of the police and the army. You have soldiers who do patrols in big cities, and basically the government have the power to arrest and make perquisition. This is the word, perquisition. Do you see what I'm talking about when I say perquisition? Like when you search someone's home.
Yeah, okay. I understand what you mean.
Okay.
In the court of law.
Yes, they have the government have all this power, and they in this state they don't have any obligation to justify their actions. So we are actually currently in France, constantly
in the military zone.
Yes, pretty much. No, it's not. You don't have the impression that you are in a an oppressive environment, but still it is here. And since all of this has started, almost 1 year ago, the government has already arrested more than 3,000 people.
Yeah.
So all this military protection of the population, I don't trust this. I don't believe in this. It's just a way to control the people, more control on the people.
Yes, everything in this document is directed at more control in hands, more power. Everything what they are saying here. They want absolute control, and not only in defense, in military position, but also what you say and what you think.
Yeah, that's not good.
And that's where I would come to, like, when you start putting thought control into people, that's...
Yes, well, because European Union has now access to Twitter, Facebook, and there was not something. When there's something like hate speech going on, and Germany or their friends makes a complaint, Twitter and Facebook has to remove it immediately. And they can do it at free will, because it's a very subjective thing to say. What is hate speech?
Yeah.
Yes, it's the emergency state. I was sorry, excuse me. I was talking about the emergency state. We call it l'état d'urgence in France. See, almost 1 year we are in an emergency state where the government has full power on everything, basically. So go on. Excuse me again.
But that would mean that, like, you'll never stop jailing people, because somebody's gonna find something hateful about some comment that some guy made, and you never. I don't know. I always believe that you're never gonna get rid of, like, racism or sexism or hate.
But now this is also a very this document made after the Brexit. It's also a very how do you say it, desperate and spastic move.
Yeah.
Yeah. We in Dutch have a saying. If you have a cat in the corner, he can make very strange jumps at you. You know, if you corner a cat, he can do very strange things, and that's what is happening here. They are doubling down. They are now pushing their project forward as fast as possible as they can to see how far they can come.
I don't think it's to see how far they can come. I think they're trying to beat those projects before the sanctions of EU are no longer applicable.
Yeah.
I think it's more of a business mood for everything, whether you're talking business or political. Now that the UK has said, hey, Brexit, done, Britain is no longer part, there is like you guys would all know more than I do on this, but there's something like a 2-year timeline where they're still part of the EU, whether they like it or not. And I think a lot of this is they're shoving it down the throat while they still can and while they still have somewhat authority.
They are saving everything they can.
But wouldn't that make more people want to leave?
Yeah, but the next people leave, there's a 2-year span on that too. Just because Britain said, hey, we're leaving and we're giving you 2 years heads up, that's precedent. The next country that wants to leave, that's 2 years heads up. And what you're going to end up finding is the last country that wants to leave is completely fucked or completely profitable.
No, it's very no, it's simple. If one key element disappears, the whole thing collapses. And the problem is it's Germany and France, and those are the two biggest powers, and they are organizing this.
Yeah, basically France and Germany. And France, we talk about France, but in reality we don't do it. I will not say we don't do anything, but the leading country really is Germany, because everything we do in France was after our president did, I don't know, some kind of communication with some tier politician, I don't know, CEO, or with Angela Merkel. Each decision, it's because he talked with Angela Merkel, he talked with some big companies CEO, and then okay, we do that. In France, we have an economical program who gives big companies subsidies to create jobs. It's 3 years, yes, we started this program 3 years ago, and the unemployment is still growing. So I don't know what they are doing with the monies, but in France, we are pretty much almost like we are cooked. Something, yes, cooked, something like that.
Hey, Xerox, I don't know if you saw it on the side chat or not. I'd really like to get your contact info.
I saw I did not understand what you said.
I'd love to get your contact info.
Yes, but before that, you said if you asked me if I saw something
in the side chat.
Oh yes. Oh okay. Yes. Oh, you want my contact info? Okay.
Yeah, I got a very good friend that lives in Paris.
I live in the southwest.
Okay. Well, I only have one friend that lives in Paris. It'd be awesome to be able to see, like, when I talk that I've never been to France. I don't plan on traveling to France. But I'd love to get more than one opinion of what's going on at the time.
Okay. Send me I did. It's in the chat.
Awesome. Sorry to interrupt the stream.
So what's next?
Yes, what's next? So they're talking about how they should come together and encourage member states to discuss and put money in the piggy bank for research and more army and one chain of command. That's the gist of it. And they also want to increase their dialogue and cooperation with third countries in North Africa, the Sahel Strip, the Lake Chad Basin, West Africa, the Horn of Africa and the Middle East, as well as the regions and sub-regional organizations. African Union and the G5. So they also want to keep meddling in North Africa and the Middle East. I have no idea what it means at this moment.
They want to suck on North Africa more.
No. They want to take over where America is realizing they should get out for some silly reason.
Okay, that's where that's coming from. Oh, this was also a very nice remark. In order to address the root causes of terrorism, France and Germany will develop a European platform to share experience and best practice in preventing and counteracting radicalization.
Yeah. They're having a lot of it.
And this first sentence, in order to address the causes of terrorism. Jesus.
But the thing is, and this is something a lot of politicians apparently still don't seem to realize, there is no way to prevent Muslim terrorism.
Nope.
And I'm not going to say all Muslims are bad, because I seriously do not believe that. But the Muslims that are not bad will also be a victim of that terrorism.
Yep.
I mean, there's a reason most people dying from Muslim terrorists are Muslims. And yes, it happens in Europe more, but yeah, most of them are still Muslims. And the root cause of that is a little book, and that book we have no influence on.
Well, I just got back, but here's my question. You guys say that you have no influence on the book, right? You have no influence on what the Quran is preaching.
Indeed.
Not at this moment, anyway.
Okay,
But
you guys have hate speech laws now, which prevent you guys from actually speaking publicly the way that you would on, say, this stream alone. Hence why I'm assuming most of you guys are.
No, we don't. In Germany they do, but in the
Germany,
Netherlands,
in France, excuse me. Go on.
in the Netherlands, we don't have laws that we're not allowed to do this.
No.
We're still safe.
Yeah,
And
the Netherlands is the Netherlands
in
is
France,
the Netherlands is a bit different. It's quite a small country, so it's more controllable. The problems here are factor less than in the neighboring countries.
Yeah.
Okay.
in France, it's not there is no law who prevents who forbids the fact to criticize Islam. But if you do it, it's basically a social death.
Yeah.
You play with fire.
Yeah, but that's the thing, and again, intersectionality, because you dare to speak out about someone who's oppressed as much as they are, and therefore you are a racist, Islamophobe, whatever you want to call it.
But Muslims, are they really that oppressed, though? Aren't they usually like oppressing their own people?
Yes.
True.
Yes.
Well, here's my question: is okay? We'll pretend that Europe is Germany right now, like that. You all have those laws, and we're just going to do that for the sake of argument. That way, we don't get in a side chat.
Mm-hmm.
Under the hate speech laws, wouldn't the Quran be able to be expelled by that laws? Because the Quran actually promotes violence from everything I've ever heard. Even the left-wing media. The Quran promotes.
Oh yeah, well, yeah, but at the same time, it's a religious book.
How come we can't use the laws that are oppressing us?
Because it's a religious book.
Them?
We don't oppress a religion.
Yes, they will say that the state is secular and he has no interest in religious affairs.
No, it's in the Constitution, the freedom of religion.
Yes.
Yep.
And
so what if we started a new religion that says all Muslims are fucking dirty, rapist bastards? If that was our religion, would we be protected?
But no, the point is, it's what I think and what I get of the picture. These Muslims are not all bad, but they are part of this Islamic system. Because they are not all bad, you cannot address them all as criminals and terrorists. That would be crazy. But that's also the trap. You get what I'm saying? It's also the trap, because if you look at other countries where Islam has come, there are a few examples where there is peace, but on a lot of places there's not peace. You know, it's how Islam works, supposedly, I think.
Yeah.
And
the thing with, sorry, go ahead, mate.
No. If you want to come with terms with these things, we need to address these problems like grown-ups, like how the facts are, and if they're butthurt, they get angry. They get angry. Little children also get angry. You'll survive, you know. But you need to address these problems.
Yep.
And that's the only thing, and that is not happening. And at the moment you do that, you're a Nazi and a fascist and
a racist, Islamophobe.
Yeah. I mean, I have worked with Turkish people and with Moroccan people. I know they're not all bad. I know this, but we cannot neglect the fact they are way overrepresented in the criminal statistics and stuff like that. We cannot neglect that. That's not possible.
Even if you look at Germany. Germany, about 4.5%, maybe 5% of the population is of Turkish descent. So let's say it's 5%. We also know that roughly 90% of Germany is white. How come the white people of Germany feel that they cannot speak out against the crimes committed by the refugees and the colored people that are committing the crimes.
Because colonialism.
But they aren't a colonial power.
Okay, it's not colonialism that does it.
Yes.
Oh,
No,
I
but
can have a side
Germany wasn't a big colonialist country, but it was, and then also.
But there's
they
a
have,
difference between it was and it is.
Yes,
and the biggest minority group in Germany is Turks.
Oh.
Turks never were a colony of Germany.
Yes.
I can actually explain why, and it's the whole social justice mandate. And you know what? I'm not a SJW by any means. I think they all need to fucking croak on some cockroaches or something. But what I can say, as much as I'm against them, I can see that they're actually stem from a very good cause, and that is equal representation. The problem happens is because you have these minority groups. It's the same as us in North America with the gay groups. You realize only a number out of my ass, can't cite it, say 25% of our population is gay. I'm giving the biggest number I can think of.
25? It's a lot.
Yeah, it's also
Like I
not true,
said.
but as an example.
Okay.
It's the biggest number I can think of out of my ass. 25% of our population would be gay and wants all these gay rights, LGBTQ, AI+, any other acronyms they want to put into it. Cool. We should represent them. But the problem is now we need to over-representation. It's like in the United States with the black community. This is a number I do know is right. 13% of the United States is black. Great. They need equal representation in movies, TV, everything else. As much as I agree or disagree, I can see a premise on that, and I can't really have an argument for it. But the argument is they're still making this premise, although they got 50% representation.
Yeah, but this is the problem, and I do feel that this problem comes from intersectionality because we have to cater to subgroups where you do not cater to anyone. You shouldn't cater to subgroups, you shouldn't cater to the majority, you should cater to the populace. So laws that are laws should be laws for everyone.
Yeah.
So, for example, are you allowed to marry? Okay, you are. Okay, does it then matter who I marry to? Well, as long as it's a human, who cares? So then, it's automatically allowed for a man to marry a man, a woman to marry a woman, or a man to marry a woman, or a woman to marry a man. There is no issue. But we made it an issue, at least in the past we made it an issue, by pretending that it's only supposed to be for men and women because that's how it traditionally was. That's why we got the gay activists trying to get the right to vote. But in all fairness, if we're talking about equality, it's not an extra right to give them, it's the same right.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
How is
I
it
can
not?
actually go into this.
No, but please.
Marriage, whether you're talking Christian, Catholic, you name your other denominations of religion, because I'm very ignorant when it comes to religion.
I'm going to interrupt you there.
Union of souls.
Religion is not the source of marriage.
Where does marriage come from then?
Marriage is a
comes
very
from
old
religion.
concept. No, it does not.
It's marriage. It's a social thing. It was, in my opinion, marriage is a social construct, like they love to say. They like to say, it's a social construct to maintain an environment, to create kids, raise them with good conditions, and make them good people for the society.
Yeah. Look at all Christian situations.
And they sacralize the act of marriage.
Yeah,
they made it holy.
But look at all the Christian countries. Do you think that before those countries were Christian, do you think they had or did not have marriage?
Well, no, that's not what I call marriage.
But that's what marriage is.
Marriage is a union between souls, right?
Well, yeah, sure. If you want to call it like that, go ahead. So
In all of our countries, hold on. In all of our countries, we have civil unions, do we not?
No.
You mean it always takes a priest to marry you?
That's why I'm saying no. Because it doesn't.
A civil union is something that a justice of the peace can provide.
A justice of the peace can. Administrators of the government can. It doesn't have to be a religious person.
That depends
again,
that depends on the country. It depends on the country, I think.
It depends on the country, true. Yes. But look at countries where there is no Christianity or hardly any. Look at China.
Yes,
How are people getting married in China?
I don't
look at India.
Marriage in China.
But there is still the tradition. There is still the tradition. But
there is still the tradition, but it's not marriage.
If you want to make a religious traditionalist marriage, you can. And if you want to make just a marriage for the sake of a marriage, you can also. But we have to take in consideration the fact that at the origin, marriage wasn't really a religious thing. It was a necessary social
construct, by lack of better word.
Yes.
Yeah.
To structure society. So it's not obligatory linked to religion. Even if I understand your point, because I know this. My parents are Christians, and I'm Christians also, but a bit different. But I was raised in the idea that a marriage is a sacred bond between a man and a woman, and it is. But yeah.
Religion has no place in marriage. Our cultures made it that
when it comes up, Tom, you are Modwain, right?
That's it's just
Okay, cool. Just hold on. Let me say something, because I actually agree with what was just said, and that's the same belief that I have. Is when you say marriage, that is a sacred bond between man and woman. But in saying that, I also believe that that bond can be provided between a man and a man or a woman and a woman. And this is my problem with marriage, is because, at least in North America, our countries are based, although we're non-secular, we are still based off of a religious faith. There is a thing called a civil union. That is this exact same thing as a marriage, and it really is just semantics that I could argue on. And I believe that a civil union should be provided to any two people that love each other. But it should not be called a marriage.
Well, the name of the thing doesn't matter, though. If the name of the thing is the most important thing, then it has no value anyway.
No, yes, it has a different value, because it's my personal opinion, but I don't really value marriage in the society we are in currently, because if it's just legally marriage, if you strip the religious or the symbolic thing in marriage, it's just a piece of paper where you say, yes, I will stay with this person, we will share eventually our revenue, our money, and then that's it. I don't see the interest. So yeah.
So if marriage is this pure religious thing, yeah. Again, I ask, why do we have marriages in non-religious countries? Why do we have marriage with non-religious people?
Because this narrative that marriage is something like sacred, something holy, has touched not only religious people but non-religious people. It's like a group thing, I will say. The symbol, even if it's more of a religious thing, people who aren't religious want to have the same symbolism they want to have the symbolism you have in the marriage. Because you can do a marriage without.
I'm sorry, but I'm going to disagree with you on that as well. Because why did gay people want the right to marriage? Because marriage gives certain laws and certain protections in those laws.
Oh yes,
that has nothing to do with the religion.
Yes. I agree, but
a civil union gives the exact same laws, exact same protections, exact same rights.
No, it didn't.
As a marriage.
None of the civil unions in the Western world gave the same rights and the same protections as marriage. They gave most of them, but not all of them.
What didn't they give?
Well, for example, civil union still means that if you go to another country, you're not married. So if something happens to you or your partner in an accident, and you go to the hospital because you want to be with your partner, they can refuse you the right because you are not married.
Okay, what rights in the Western world doesn't it give you, though?
That one, I'm just mentioning it. This is still something that can happen in the Western world.
Okay.
If you look at,
I cannot argue that point. I don't know any better.
Okay, then there is
I'm looking for the fundamental rights.
There is heritage. If I die and we're not married, there is a different way of dealing with my testimony, and my possession will be taxed. Whereas if you and I are married in the lawful way, I'm not talking religious, I'm more lawful way.
Yeah, no,
if we're married, then everything I own will be on my partner. But if we are in a civil union, it still will be taxed.
Okay, I think this is one of the European North American differences. Is because I can tell you right now, I can live with a girl for 6 months. I'll be called common law. No ceremony, no paperwork, none of that.
Mm-hmm.
And once we are common law, you know, if I die, all of my property becomes hers, all of my debt becomes hers, vice versa.
Yeah, that's definitely not the same way in Europe.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, then this is a complete cultural difference.
But again,
like in North America, when you're a civil union, I would love to be corrected, and I'm not going to argue. I'd love to be corrected on this, but there is no different rights that a married person or a civil union person can have.
Well, I wouldn't know for Canada. I know that in America there were differences as well.
But I think all of this relies also on how the the law system is functioning. Because I remember a case of how do they call it in English? A case for child support where I don't remember in which state of the USA. A man was considered like it was married with a woman who had a kid with him, even if he wasn't married, because they were living together in the same house for 10 years.
That's called common law.
Okay, so I think it's a cultural thing, but yes, you could consider people like non-married people or people in civil union, like like you call it, even if they are not married in the
Church.
yes. So yes, that's
Yes.
about it.
Yes.
Yeah, we do get sidetracked, Mark. You're right. Dick, was there much more to the document still, or?
Oh no, there's still a lot more, but there's still time for one remark.
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
Let's see. Okay, they are going. Okay, in the medium term, they want an internal security based on some measures and one platform for intelligence cooperation. So one CIA for Europe, I suppose.
Horrible idea.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It sounds like that they want to have one of chain of command. So
our secret services have let now 6 terrorists do their thing in France. So I don't know what European CIA will do.
I have no idea also. And this is maybe the interesting part. European contingency planning for major crisis scenarios affecting several member states, creation of a European responsible capability, establishment of a European Civil Protection Corps. Establishment of a European Civil Protection Corps. And this follows the line with the military and the civil how do you call it? Effective tactics they want to implement.
So it's pretty much the civil police.
Yes.
That is a completely retarded ass idea.
Yeah, that's one civil police for. Yeah, that's some kind of military police. I have no idea what they mean with it.
You realize if Europe is smart, they don't need that. We already do it.
Yeah, we don't. Yes, but they are craving for power. They want absolute control about everything.
They are centralizing the power in one hand, not a few hands. This is what I see this. Because if you have one centralized European army, one centralized law, etc., and in a few hands, it is these people who have all the power. Even if the European court already has all the power, almost all the power in Europe. They don't have all the power yet, but this is what they are trying to do.
Yes, yeah, okay.
Don't we already have that with our independent security forces, though? Like in Canada, US, Canada has CSIS, US has NSA and CIA. Now, if we see something coming from a European nation as a threat to North America, say Canada's the first one to come up to that, Canada gives a courtesy call to the American delegations and says, hey, here's our evidence, do with it what you want.
Yeah, the thing is,
and I'm pretty sure that in the European Union, already as it sits, you have that.
Well, you know the example of Belgium, because they have absolutely no control about these neighborhoods. In these neighborhoods, this Abdeslam, the terrorist of Paris, he could walk freely to these neighborhoods. Belgium has no idea what they have in house. And if you look at France and those big banlieues, man, that's frightening. I find that very scary. So to say that they have everything under control, and I don't believe that. I think they are losing control.
Yeah,
every day every day they are losing control, and they are directing us in a very bad path. In the wrong direction.
Funny enough, though, this is actually a good argument for a centralized intelligence agency, so to speak, for Europe. But the way they are pushing for it now makes it difficult for people to follow, because we are forcing people to accept certain things that are unacceptable.
Yes, but that's the thing. I believe the and the intelligence which are now operative are doing their best they can, and they are doing a good job. What they can do. This is just about getting everything under one umbrella. That's the only target here.
Let me tell you something. In France, our security services are so secret, we don't even knew they existed before we knew about the terrorist attack and the surveillance of the terrorists. So, I don't know if centralized intelligence in for Europe will be better, but it will surely be better than the French secret police, so I don't know, agents or, well, whatever. You understood me, I think.
Maybe.
Well, I think a centralized intelligence agency would be a good thing, as long as you kept your regionalized intelligence agencies as well. Because if you look back to world history, I'm sorry if I offend Germans here, but Germans basically started both world wars.
Actually, they only started the second. Well, yeah, maybe the second one. They didn't start the first one, actually. The first one was started by France and England.
Okay, I'm not a big World War I buff. I don't actually know very many facts. World War II, on the other hand, yeah, I do. And what I'm seeing is British intelligence needs to stay British intelligence. In their own organization, they need to be able to look at whatever British assets are at mind, judge those at what it is, but I could see a European intelligence agency which takes direction from all the other intelligence agencies equally. So if, say, British reports terrorist cell in Belgium, France reports a British terrorist, or reports a terrorist cell in Belgium, and Spain reports the same fucking shit, there needs to be another agency that can say, okay, you guys are all fucked and you can't talk, cool. We're gonna go in and we're gonna nuke these fuckers. Not necessarily nuke, but...
But you know, they are already doing this. It's just they don't want the terrorist attack in Belgium came from France, and the secret service, French secret service were surveilling the guy, and he knew the French security service knew he was going to Belgium, and they didn't do anything. I'm losing my English. They did nothing. So it's not a European secret service isn't needed. We just have to make sure our services do their job.
Which is going to be difficult because
act on it quicker or something.
Yeah, which is going to be difficult because they've been how do you call it? Cutting spending on this for years now. But yeah.
I wouldn't really see why you would disband all the national intelligence agencies anyways, even if you did have a Central European one.
Well, these are professional organizations, right? These are highly professional, trained intelligence officers.
I assume so.
Yeah, you assume.
No, okay. I'm quite sure Scotland Yard is quite a good of an organization. I cannot imagine that they don't have the communication lines not in order. I mean, come on, I have an idea that this is more some kind of a fantasy story they are putting together just to push this narrative.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. When they killed the former dictator of Libya, they knew where the guy was. They knew not itinerary, yes, itinerary. They knew everything about him, his family, and caught him in like 4 days, if I recall properly. So this service, the Secret Service work. I'm going to be like a crazy guy who spew conspiracy theory, but I think they know what they are doing. They shut down the services for certain periods of time, so terrorists can do what they want. And after we can, we have terrorism in Europe, we have to unite together to do whatever bullshit they want us to do.
Because in Germany, the Minister of Justitie, how do you call it?
Justice.
Justice, thank you. He announced new laws, which included also to be more actively on the internet to attack or to get to people. So they are pushing more laws to get control of the public because of these terrorist attacks.
This is all about this. They don't have any. They don't care about the well-being of the population.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm sorry because we've been on here for 2 hours now, and I know I haven't kept the ship tight because we've been talking about a lot of stuff.
Can I say one thing about this establishment of European Civil Protection Corps? There's one thing I want to address here. In the longer term, it would make sense to enlarge the scope of the European Public Prosecutor's Office in future to include fighting terrorism and organized crimes. This would require harmonization of criminal law among the member states.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, but
it would.
Yes, if you have this European Civil Protection Corps and they can operate under one law, they can do everything they want in whole Europe. They can do everything.
Yeah,
the thing is,
I actually agree with Dick on that one.
No, the thing is, what is allowed in one country is currently not allowed in another. If all of the laws are equal,
they want one court system.
Yeah. And I mean, it doesn't have to be a good thing. It doesn't have to be a bad thing. But the way things are going, it seems like not a good idea.
Yeah.
So, and then they talk about the asylum things and the monetary union and stuff like that. So it continues in that way with the arrogance that they know better and we should not complain. They are doing it for us. That's what they're telling us.
Basically, we are peasants. We are peasants for these people.
We are nothing. We are nothing. We are just working horses to make money for them.
If we don't complain, we don't have a voice, and if we don't have a voice, we're non-existent.
But if we do complain, we disagree with them, and we're just being a noisy minority, and people shouldn't listen to us anyway.
What's
it's kind of a catch-22.
Hey, Modwain, what's the metaphor about the squeaky wheel?
The squeaky wheel gets most oil. But that's
where I'm saying is.
No, because we're not wheels. We're dissenting voices.
No, we're all wheels in a metaphor.
Yeah, but that metaphor doesn't carry this.
We're all cogs in the machine, aren't we?
No, we're not cogs in a machine either. We're dissenting voices. This is what happened in Germany. That Facebook is telling the German government who to arrest because they disagree. This is what's happening.
Criminal in and of itself, though.
Yeah. It should be, yeah, but unfortunately it's allowed. Or at least in Germany it is, not in the Netherlands, luckily, but...
Thank God.
Yeah, I got my own...
That will come one day.
Dude, when I read that this would require harmonization of criminal law, I was like, so they're going to decriminalize a whole lot of drugs across Europe?
Ha! No.
No, we're going to be fucked.
We're going to be fucked on that as well. Exactly. Which is weird considering, but yeah.
I'm an ex-pot smoker, but I still would like my friends to smoke pot, whenever they want.
Well, pot smoking isn't the issue. I don't care about people smoking pot.
I don't care either.
But
No,
that's
I
the
mean,
gateway.
no, it's
As
not.
long as you stay on control.
The gateway theory has been disproven so many times. It really is not.
No, it hasn't been disproven.
Yes, it has.
Hold on here. The gateway theory has not been disproven because the gateway theory is what leads to prosecution.
No, the gateway was the concept that you started with soft drugs and then you would eventually accelerate or level up into the harder drugs.
Start with a couple hits of a tune.
Yeah, but
But the whole gateway from soft drugs to hard drugs has been disproven so many times. I mean, this is something I know. I work in psychology. This is something we used to work with. I mean, no, there is no such thing as a gateway drug.
Okay, Mod, I'll put my, actually, no, I won't. But you got me on Twitter. Show me 2 links at where the gateway's been disproven, because I actually do believe it. I don't believe that it's a way of prosecution, by the way.
Okay, then I'm going to ask you. Something else. It might make you think on it differently. How many people have died of an overdose of marijuana?
No one, ever.
Okay. How many people have died of an overdose on THC?
That's the same as marijuana.
No, THC is
It's,
it's something
the
in
chemical
marijuana,
element, the chemical element of marijuana.
yeah, THC is
Okay.
stronger than marijuana itself.
If you're talking about the synthetic, like
No,
if you're
it's not synthetic. It's basically oil from the weed plants.
Or the
It's,
crystal.
it's the active substance in marijuana.
okay, I cannot say conclusively, but reasonable doubt would say still no one.
Yeah, still no one. The thing is, we know that there are.
How many people have died off of meth?
Oh, way too many. way too many.
How many people? Hey, hold on. How many people started on meth?
You would be amazed. I'm
And
seriously
that's
telling you.
what I know. I would be amazed, and that's why I'm asking you for the studies that
nearly
show
all
how
of
many
them.
people start on meth.
No,
Like, I'm not saying meth is good, and I'm not saying pot is good. None of that.
you do not start pot to grow into meth. The whole
but
experience of
never
marijuana
do.
is different than meth. Meth is something that gets you hypered, where pot is something to get you demure.
No, pot is something that brings you away from reality.
No, it's not a hallucinogenic. Blah, blah,
It's
that was
not. No, it brings you away from reality because it allows you to actually relax to the point that your current reality is not stressing you the fuck out.
It doesn't
And I
bring you
can-
away from reality, though.
No, it's the same as me and alcohol. Okay,
Okay,
I'm borderline alcoholic.
fair enough. So how often have you tried meth?
All alcohol drives you to drugs.
No, I tried meth once. I
Okay,
didn't like it. I tried cocaine.
okay. And did you try it because of alcohol?
No, I tried it because of fucking marijuana. Actually, if you really want to know the honest truth,
You didn't
it's
try it because
I
of
knew
marijuana.
pot.
How
Yeah,
many people?
I did.
How many people have died of alcohol?
More than marijuana.
Too many.
Okay,
Like I can't put a number to it.
okay. How much of an effect does marijuana have compared to the effect of alcohol?
Okay, I'm not.
Excuse me. I want to
about
make.
equal.
You're
I want
moving
to
the
make-
goalposts there, Modwain.
No, but I want to make a remark. Excuse me to cut you, but I think what you said about the number of people who died of alcohol or marijuana, I think more people are dying of alcohol because alcohol is legal.
Nope,
I
that's
don't
not the
think it's
reason.
because it's illegal.
That's not the reason.
I think it's along the lines of me. If you really want to know the truth,
decisions.
if you really want to know the truth, I'd much rather be a fucking pothead than somebody that fucking drinks every night.
Yes,
Oh,
and I
okay.
agree with you on that.
But
Okay,
I just
most
don't
definitely.
enjoy marijuana as much as I enjoy alcohol.
Therefore, the
But the
chances
thing-
of you going into harder drugs is bigger than when it is with marijuana, because marijuana is basically, well,
Dude, when
It's-
I was smoking a lot of pot, I didn't even want to use other drugs.
I wouldn't.
I want to
No.
know how many people started doing drugs on meth, on cocaine,
A lot
on
of people.
heroin.
A lot of people
How many
have.
people that was their first drug that
Yeah, yeah.
they ever tried?
Now,
A lot of people don't start on those drugs, but they then also didn't start on marijuana. It's more likely that
What did they
alcohol
start on?
was. It's more likely that alcohol was the gateway drug, and the main reason why they would go to something harder is not even the reason of gateway, because gateway theory is bullshit. I mean, if you have
Modwain,
yes,
Modwain, can you argue this?
I can
And
argue anything.
oh, awesome, because I'm an asshole and I like arguing. We understand marijuana, alcohol, although they both have. Well, I'm not actually going to call down marijuana.
Actually,
Well,
Eludus
they
Deshay
both
in
are.
chat is right. They start
They-
on cigarettes and alcohol.
Yep.
That's
No,
the
okay, I
main
haven't
gateway.
seen I haven't seen,
But that's the
seen
main
that.
gateway.
but marijuana and alcohol are essentially even ground, right?
No, I'm
On
not saying
starting
marijuana.
point?
I'm saying cigarettes.
Oh,
And no, they're not equal grounds.
I want to see a study that shows how many people start on the hard drugs.
No one starts on hard drugs. Well, actually,
Well,
that's not
then
true.
what do they
because-
start on?
Probably disproportionate to cigarettes, alcohol, and
No. The problem we're now having is the following one. What is the definition of a hard drug?
Hard drug, cocaine, meth, heroin,
No. That's not a definition. That's just.
ecstasy.
Those are just names. That's not a definition.
Do you need the scientific form for that, or what?
What is a hard drug? Now, according to the
Hard
world,
drug is a chemically authorized drug.
no, it's not.
Then what is a hard drug?
Well, that's the thing, though. According to the World Health
No, you
Organization,
asked for a
yes,
definition.
I'm going to give you one now. According
Okay.
to the World Health Organization, a hard drug is a substance that creates a physical dependency.
Dependency, yes. That's what I. This is
That's
what I was
it.
thinking.
Nothing more, nothing less. It creates a physical dependency. Okay, and now we're going to go into a list of things that consider to be a hard drug according to the World Health Organization.
Thank
Of
you.
course, the first one I'm going to mention is alcohol.
Cigarette.
So if you
Oh.
want to talk about gateway drugs, pick up your beer. Seriously, that's the biggest gateway drug out there.
I got it in my hand, and I'm going to take a sip.
And I'm hoping you're enjoying it, but it is the biggest of the gateway drugs. Then there are cigarettes. Obviously, everyone knows that.
Yeah.
Is marijuana a hard drug? No, because it does not create a physical dependency. Well, there you have it then. Okay,
most hallucinogenics aren't hard drugs.
and now I'm going to go into the funny part. Do you drink coffee?
I knew you were going to take it there.
I
didn't
drink coffee sometimes.
there, but I already see where you're going with this.
Okay. Do you use sugar?
Caffeine fucking
Oh, yeah.
addict.
Do you use sugar?
No.
Yeah.
Okay, it's good that you don't use it because it does create a physical dependency and it does damage the body. It's a hard drug.
It's a fucking everything. these days.
No, if you're talking scientific, I can actually see that. Like, I'll be honest, I've
it's not even
had
just
a 2-pound
scientific.
bag of sugar in my house for the past 4 years.
That's good.
I'm going to sell some sugar.
But that's the thing, though. The whole gateway drug concept has been flawed from the beginning. The problem with it was that they're trying to understand and describe something that's happening without looking at the reason why it is happening.
Okay,
The thing is,
Oh.
the main reason why they wanted to ban marijuana because it was legal for the longest time in the Western world.
Mhm.
That's in America, in
Great.
Europe.
Yes,
It was-
I know.
The reason why they wanted to ban it was because it was appreciated by the wrong part of town.
What? No, it wasn't.
Yeah,
Well, no,
it was.
it was actually very
It was illegal, made illegal because hemp is a very easy plant, and it can be
Textile
used
for
for
textile.
so many things.
The problem is not the growing of hemp. The problem is that,
Like businesses were losing money, and that's why.
and that's where they go with that stuff. Because
Yes, none of us can argue that one.
so, why are they calling it a gateway drug? It has never been a gateway drug. The main reason was they couldn't make money off of it, and it made them stop making money of other things.
Hey, Maud, do you smoke dope?
I don't know.
Have you ever?
Yes.
Yeah. Were you lucid through the entire period of time? Or did you have a time where you actually forgot your problems?
I have had times where I forgot stuff, but that was never because of pot. That was always because of alcohol.
You smoked a light version.
Well, I didn't smoke that much. That's true.
Well, yeah, that's also when I was a heavy pot user, I would like, I don't know, sort of be in this, I don't know, stone state, I guess you could say. But
Lucid?
still slowly on the background, all my problems would still be going through my head.
Yeah, because
And-
no matter how stoned you are, you're still aware of your surrounding. Alcohol,
Mar-
however,
Now, mushrooms, on the other hand,
When you are on alcohol, also you are aware of
Hold
your
on.
surroundings.
For my argument's sake, I'm going to use Mark as the question for you. You said that it did lessen the state of reality when you smoke pot, right?
yeah,
like your
I don't know the
stresses
word
weren't-
for it. What's roes in English?
Okay, when your
Roos.
stresses
buzz.
became
buzz,
less of
yeah.
a stress.
Yeah, it also made time just go by real quick, you know. So.
Okay. Now, when you're under complete stress, like right now, I'm getting fucked over by my government, and I'm going to be homeless in 2 weeks.
Mhm.
That is something that I call a stressful time.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone here could question that.
No, we agree.
Now, when I see something less than that stress, but the stress is still there, and I got a marketing campaign that says, hey, try this heroin because the stress will completely go away at that point. What am I going to do? Like, if it wasn't for anti-drug and everything else, without knowing fuck all about nothing.
Yeah, I could see why you would use heroin at a
Like,
Something
I
like
do
that.
not, and I'm not going to call Modwain's argument debunked.
No, but that what
Between alcohol and everything else.
you're
Because
talking about
alcohol and
escape behavior
marijuana,
now.
I take
yeah.
as the same level of narcotic.
No, they're not. Alcohol is a hard drug.
Yep.
Alcohol is a hard drug. I'm sorry. You can
Okay,
drink a few
Modwain, what's LSD?
Hui.
LSD is a hard drug.
Oh,
How is
have
it a
you-
hard drug? It has
have you
no
ever tried
chemical
it?
activities that make addictive properties.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you say there.
LSD has no chemical properties that make an addictive quality. All it is a perceived state of mind that makes it
Actually,
addictive.
it's
It's very
I
chemical.
think it's very chemical. It causes your blood vessels in your brain to narrow, even to the point where alcohol is roughly the same, which causes your brain to stop functioning properly, which makes you see and hear and feel things that aren't there, and it does create a dependency.
No, that's called hallucinogenic.
What?
As far as the chemical properties, there is no addictive properties to LSD. And I can forward you those reports that say there is no addictive properties
Well,
The people
okay,
get
maybe
addicted
you're right on that.
to the state of mind.
I have done that. I have done that once. I will never do it again. But it's not addictive. It's not like you want to do it again. It's really more kind of a ride.
Well, fair enough.
In rehab, they also had all these papers on hallucinogenics and how they're not addictive. The only one from the whole packet of pamphlets that they had there.
They are dangerous, but for
dangerous,
for a different reason, because you do see things that are not there, and sometimes people do want to fly, you know.
You can go in psychosis.
No,
and all that stuff.
I'm talking the
Yes.
same goalpost that Modwain tried pulling on me. Is, you know what? How could LSD be a hard drug if it doesn't create those addictive properties?
Oh, fair enough. Then I'm wrong.
That
is very possible.
Yeah, I think there's also another norm. That's how much your surroundings and your experience, your surroundings, how much that is affected.
Yeah, it's not just physical; it's also social.
And if we go back the past 10 minutes of this argument, where I've been seemingly proven wrong, if you want to talk just semantics, or not semantics, but medical studies, Modwain is just as proven wrong as I was.
No, actually,
on the gateway drug.
No, it's no proof. I'm sorry, but proving that LSD is a hallucinogenic, I'm really good at my English today. It does not prove me wrong.
But it proves me wrong what you had said earlier.
The only thing I've said, and this is something that I tried to prove to you, is that marijuana is not a gateway drug. It never has been, and as far as I can tell, it probably never will become one.
Oh yeah,
but
that's
your
one thing I
definition
wanted.
of gateway drug was addictive properties. Your definition of hard drug was addictive properties.
The definition of
and
hard
I just showed you a hard drug that you agreed that was a hard drug that has actual no addictive properties.
You know, maybe I'm wrong on that one. I'm completely willing to accept that one. That still doesn't mean that marijuana is a gateway drug.
I could see why they would say that marijuana is a gateway drug, because I've seen a lot of potheads with a whole range of drugs.
Yes. I was going to say.
And it also depends on the culture and how illegal it is, because like in some countries, some dealers will have a whole range of drugs as well.
But this is something we saw. This is something we saw not too long ago in the Netherlands.
Actually, a gateway drug.
Here in the Netherlands, we have this experiment with the coffee shops. To separate the soft and the hard drugs, and because what is happening is, if you have your local dealers first, they do to the younger guys, the younger people. First they sell you some pot, and then they say, oh, I don't have any, but I have this, because they can make more money off the other thing, and that can be coke first and stuff like that. So those are more the home dealers who are pushing another product.
Anyway, I'm sorry, guys. Considering the time, I love this subject. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to pull a fast one. Actually, if you guys want, we can have this next week.
I'd love to. I'd love to be part of that, Modwain.
Yeah, you're more than welcome. So basically, let's try this one.
on drugs, but I will be to learn.
But
having
said that, now I'm going to stop. Having said that, I am going to pull an end to it, because I think, well, we've been busy for quite a long time now. I mean, I don't. Yeah, probably. So, and I have to go to bed and all that. I would love to talk about this. So let's say next Wednesday at, well, let's say 3 hours before now. I'm just going to say 3 hours before now. So whatever time it is on your end now, minus 3 hours is when we start next Wednesday.
Okay.
Okay.
So I hope you all will be there, and we're going to have a nice discussion about drugs. This is funny. We have three Dutch people in here. All of them know something about drugs. I'm sure of it.
Oh yeah.
Hey Mod, I'm gonna be completely stretched out with personal problems. Can I look at you to PM me that time, like a couple hours in advance?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that we follow each other.
I have you on Twitter. I'll try. Oh, for fuck's sake. This is something I'm bad at. I really am. Oh, bloody hell.
No, or anybody else in this room. Dick, I think you follow me as well. Because this is conversation that has been a great deal helped me already because it brought me off my personal problems.
Well,
So I'd
that's,
love to have this again.
Yeah, you got a lot on your mind at the moment. So that's cool.
anyway, so I'm going to ask you all one by one, and I'm going to start. Let's see. I'm going to start with Xerox. You're going to be the first one. What's your last thought for today?
So the last thought for today is, if you are in Europe, then make the people around you aware of what our different governments are trying to do after what we learn here. Make them aware about this. And if you are not in Europe, then do everything to protect your country. That's it.
Fuck. I'm in Canada.
And don't do drugs,
Fuck.
kids.
And don't do drugs, kid. Okay, Mark, what do you got for us, mate?
Nothing. I'm freaking tired, man.
Oh, that's
that's-
nothing is something.
Okay, well, fuddernuteh, up to you, mate.
What are my last thoughts on this? I really hope that Europe doesn't get cucked because I live in Canada and we follow Europe's rule, although we don't. But
Well.
if Europe gets cucked, we're not very far behind.
Yeah, the Western world is seriously for
Yeah.
shit now.
Yeah,
Oh no, Canada worse because we've only left the colonization since 1985 when we got our Bill of Rights.
Well,
But-
it maybe looks bad, but Europe has an excellent track record in rebellions and revolutions. So,
Oh yeah.
Why? Because we burnt down the White House?
well, that's not what I said.
No, Europe has a lot of infighting too, mate. Don't worry about it. You're not the only.
I honestly hope for the best on everybody on the stream in their countries because we all need help right now.
Yeah.
We need to get rid of the fucking fifis and get back to facts and understand that facts are going to hurt people. And if we don't like it, too bad, so sad. Cry to your mummy.
Reality that remembers what.
Oh, I guess I do.
Right.
have a
Anyway,
thought.
last thought, guys. Come on.
Ah,
Last
yes,
thought
yes,
from
yes.
Dick. Go on, mate.
Well, if you're gay, that's okay, but you don't have to be a faggot about it.
The wiser last one.
Okay, guys. Thank you very much for coming, and to the people who were viewing, thank you very much for viewing. We already have our next one set up, and it's going to be a great discussion about drugs, which is going to be cool.
Is that going to be on your channel or Tom's channel?
It's going to be on this channel.
Okay.
So I hope you all have a great time, and see you next week. And we're going to go off of the live thingy in 3, 2, 1. Now, I would want to say.